I've got two feelings inside of me. One, quite a classic, but nevertheless very true, that tonight is going to be a good night. Second feeling that I have inside of me, ooh, level 90, is that we are going to get our Primal Agent Legendary in this recording segment. I know, big words, riskful words, because we might face a whole load of malarkey and disappointment in the process. I want to sound confident so that the Diablo gods know that I'm not to be messed with today. I've already played more than an hour of Diablo 3 today. I'm due, you know, Daddy's due. That is due for a little gift. That is due for some excitement. That is due for some reward for his effort put in. I'm not really like thinking that, okay, I will definitely get the item right now, but I feel like we've made some nice progress today. Our build is becoming stronger and stronger, and we are getting more and more attempts at getting primals by, of course, just playing the game. We completed a lot of greater rifts, we completed some normal rifts and other content as well, but it has to be in there as well, right? I completely forgot that we completed our focus and restraint as well, so that I now need to auto-attack. I need to use my evasive fire in the meantime. You guys are probably yelling at the screen, especially the people that are watching this enthusiastically with the greatest of attention. You guys are probably yelling at the screen, and there's probably going to be a lot of you, you know? I think everybody has the time to watch a guy play Diablo 3 for more than 3 hours. I guess this is now the second video as well. I need to remember to cut it up, but hopefully when my editing ass hears me talk about this, he will be smart enough to realize, oh yeah, right, cut it up, because I'm literally telling him verbatim. I'm giving him clear and concise instructions as to what to do so. Hopefully he's smart enough to do so. I wish my editing self was a bit more talented. I feel like I got my editing routine kind of down, how I edit and how I want to create those videos, but I wish I had more tactics, more cool effects, more inspiration up my sleeve to make the videos look even cooler. For videos like this and for regular gameplay videos, it doesn't really matter all that much because the editing is not often the main appeal. But to create other videos as well, outside of the comforts of my own home, I think for that I would really love to have some new editing techniques. And the answer is, of course, I don't have to tell you probably, just do it, practice, look up guides online and just, yeah, just see what you can do. See what the options are instead of thinking beforehand, oh, I don't know what the options are, so I'm not going to be able to do it. I think that's kind of my vision of music production and why I have so much fun with that, because my expectations are low and I'm just exploring, having fun. I need to do that with editing as well. That's where the hard part comes in, because I need to do that with reading books, I need to do that with exercising, I need to do that with music production, I need to do that with poetry, I need to do that with reading about psychotherapy, I need to do that with my therapist education. Just let go and try to have fun and try to do what is possible. And you hear how many things I need to do, right? And Lord knows, we only have 24 hours in a day. So that's quite a difficult task that I set myself. I set for myself. An impossible task, to be honest. What the fuck are you even? A one-handed ethereal crusader item. Now that's something I didn't expect to see today. In Geom is also not something I expected to see today, but something we have in our stash already and something we don't need in our build at this point in time. So thanks, I guess, but thanks for nothing. I think editing can make or break your video when you're using real life footage. We're saving up blood shards, right? I think I used them in the last video on rings, even though I already had my focus. That was probably one of the stupidest things I've ever done in Diablo 3. It's interesting, I guess. Good for Vayne players. If you get that joke for respect points, it's because there's an effect related to condemn in there. An ancient in-game, huh? That's what I do with ancient in-games. This might be better, but I'm not gonna bother with it right now. What I am bothering with right now is heading straight back into a greater rift, but level 90 is a bit too steep at this point in time. I go for 85. 85 seems achievable in a couple of minutes, and that's really what you're looking for. The greater rift difficulty that is easy to get through, but still high enough level to get you some nice rewards. And I think right now 85 fulfills that bracket for us. How has the rest of my day been since I pressed stop recording last time? Thank you very much for asking, first of all. It has been fine. The therapy sessions went okay as I expected. The clients were cooperative, were introspective, were ready to look at their own role in things, ready to look at what they could do better, and ready to head back into the next couple of weeks without a therapy session where they will try to actually apply some of the things we talked about today. So, yeah. An honest day's work. How do I feel about today in terms of my professional life? I feel quite good, quite satisfied. I feel some fulfillment. I feel some gratefulness towards my clients. And additionally, I feel like I am extra happy with my productivity today because of the time I invested in my therapy education and getting everything set up, as I talked about in the last recording session. That really is something that's gonna be so nice and helpful for future Vincent. He is really gonna enjoy that future Onkruid. I'm sorry, Vincent is my real name, which a lot of you probably know, especially people watching up until this point know, because those are my friends that are too pitiful to me. They feel too much of a pity to not watch my videos and don't actually enjoy my content at all. I'm not insecure, you're insecure. Stop looking at me like that. Stop it, please, I beg you. Socks are still behind me. Probably gonna fold them in the morning. One of the more tedious tasks, in my opinion, folding laundry. One that has to happen, of course, but I don't really like doing it. At least with my clothes, they have like regular shapes. There's predictability in there, there's control. Once my girlfriend gets her clothes in the mix, you need to be a NASA engineer studying blueprints left, right, and center for a couple of days before you know how to fold some of that shit, man. There's triangles, there's trapezoids, there's any human inventable shape, probably even some uninvented shapes are intertwined with human clothing pieces, and it's quite the challenge, to be honest, to figure out how to carefully stow that away in the closet, like I do with my sexuality. Oops, did I say that out loud? Yeah, okay. We're just gonna keep upgrading this gem for now, because it is our main damage provider, and we are still focused on dealing more damage at this point in time. Rank 50. Nothing to sneeze at. I guess what we could do as well, just as a nice little intermezzo, is do one of these echoing nightmares so that we can already augment one of our items potentially with... If we have enough gems, do you need 3 or 9? 3. Okay, I think we will definitely be able to do 3. And we can, for example, do our ring. We can do any piece of gear that is ancient already. Yeah. Let's do it. It is in here as well, right? I want to do just one, but I guess that's fine. I guess it will probably work like that. But just to be sure. Okay, we have our Greater Rift build equipped. He has the right items as well. Let's quickly check whether this is ancient, I guess, because that might be a little gear upgrade that can make a change. A lot of extra toughness, 100 resistance to all elements, critical hit chance 8.5. Yeah, no, it's good, it's cool, but it's not wow. It's not wowza. And if it's not wowza, you won't see me using it. Okay. The Echoing Nightmare is kind of a zone where you can farm a whole lot of experience, and the end result is not necessarily gear. The end result is, however, a gem that you can use to augment your ancient items, providing you with hundreds, maybe even thousands eventually of extra points of dexterity, and that is a nice boost to your damage. It's basically a zombie horde survival mode in this little arena down here, and the cool thing is that there's 4 pylons of one of every kind around the map as well, and it's kind of your incentive, you're incentivized to try and find out when the best moment will be to use them. There's also those little gremlins that you just saw running at me that explode when you kill them. There's also going to be ones that leave poison on the ground. There's probably also going to be frost ones, but it's been a while since I've done this, of course. And as always, I am forgetting my evasive fire. Should not forget that. Current tier 49. Let's try to get to at least 90 if possible, because that allows me to augment my gear with a strong gem. I think 125 is like the max you can get, but don't quote me on that. Quote me though. I'm not certain. We used to do this to level up our paragons rather quickly when we were playing with a 4-stack team. But that's been a while. None of my friends play Diablo 3 anymore, and I mean, can you blame them? Because I cannot blame them, considering this game is like multiple years old already. Diablo 4 has come out, Diablo 2 Resurrected has come out, Path of Exile keeps uploading or increasing their content. There's a whole bunch of other games in the world as well that are not just ARPGs. I don't blame them for moving on. And I don't blame myself for holding on for dear life to this gem that has provided me with so much pleasure and is still providing me with so much pleasure already. Everybody can play the game they want to play, you know? Everybody can play what they get energy from. Except for if my buddy Barshafol, if my buddy Simon keeps playing World of Warcraft, I'm gonna have to probably do a little bit of an intervention because man oh man, he is a little addicted to that shit, I think. Let's try and pop some of the pylons now. Or they instantly die, that's interesting. And they drop loot. Nemesis Bracers has some interesting interactions I noticed today. Earlier today in the event as well. Okay, nice little helmet. We popped our power pylon, so I guess now we really are focused on dealing damage to the Rift Guardians that we were struggling with. Like this fella right here. Thank you so much. Goodbye. This is where the poison or the multi-AoE AoE attacks, their fireballs I guess, come in. That's quite hard to dodge. Make sure our vengeance is always online, both for the tankiness and the extra damage. We are now at tier 105, which is quite nice. Our massacre bonus is stacked up nicely. Our power pylon is still active. We're about halfway. And we still have channeling, which I will pop right now. And the shield pylon to go. I think the shield pylon is going to be nice to pick lastly, because it allows us to survive a little bit longer, but we might not have the damage to really get rid of the enemies. We need to get rid of them to progress to the next tier, but hey, maybe surviving a little bit has something to say for that as well. I just realized now that there is no shield pylon here and that we only have conduit, and I think conduit is not really going to make that big of a difference at this stage of the game. We are getting a little bit overwhelmed. That's something I forgot to say. If you can't kill the minions quickly enough, if you can't kill the enemies quickly enough, you will get overwhelmed and the instance will end as well. But 120 is very, very decent. It's way better than what I expected to achieve at this point in time, at this point of my Diablo build. So I'm very, very satisfied. Let's try and run around and kill some of the small monsters in the hope of not getting overwhelmed. 125. If that's the actual maximum, then I will be very, very, very pleased with myself. It might be 150. It could definitely be 150. But if it's 125, then good job, me, you know? 129 or 128, and then I was overwhelmed. Okay. I'm okay with that. Let's open up this chest. It's experienced a little bit of lag because there's a lot of things that come out of here. And that is very nice. This gem is level 125. And we were at tier 128, so 125 is the max gem you can get from here. Identify our items, disenchant what we don't need, which is a lot, another Yang's recurve, which is sadly not primal. And then let's head into Act 2 to buy some essences of emerald, which we can then use to convert gems into emerald gems. Goodbye. To augment one of our ancient items. Don't need any of this. Act 2, please. Beautiful. Rest of the evening is going to be just this calm Diablo vibe. Oh, I don't even need to convert. Without too many crazy things happening, probably. Which item am I augmenting? These shoulders are okay, I guess. These pants are not okay. I need to reroll them still. Maybe the belt? Why not the belt? After all, why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I augment my belt? I use it in both versions of the build, so that's... You can transmute it. Wait, no, what the fuck? Why was this in here? This needs to be in here. Okay, nice. So now it just has 625 dexterity added to it. So that's like double what the item normally has. And I do see my blood shard total has stacked up to a nice point of me being able to progress my altar of rights. Fire up the build again. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, but this is what you're here for. The slow parts as well. We're trying to make this a mindful video where we enjoy every single second together. As I said, chill Diablo playtime. Really? Is that the most valuable thing I can do right now? It is according to the guide, but nah, sure. We're trying to unlock everything of that either way. Okay, I want to unlock the next step as well, please. Which is down here, but we already did that for quality of life. Let's pick up Dead's Breath. Yes, please. Okay. Yeah, let's just do that. I know it doesn't progress the primal hunt, but wow, we look like a boss. It progresses my enjoyment because I can progress my altar of rights a little bit further. What are we looking at here? Call down a large furious ray of holy power. That has quite a large cooldown. Explode, increasing your damage and wrath regeneration. That takes a while, so that's probably something we want to have on in dire situations. Attack speed for you and your allies. The horse to move around quickly. Throwing hammers. And Fist of the Heavens. Okay, let's just see what happens. I am not used to playing... I think our right click is just our main damage dealer. I am not used to playing Crusader at all. It is probably... I would assume it to be my least played class, to be honest. Should have popped my A ability on the really dangerous enemies over here. But so far, it looks like this is not going to be the hardest one to deal with. But we did a lot of damage. Well, I guess it's only Rift difficulty 45, so our damage is not that high. But at least we're making quick work of all the enemies around here. We have an Oculus Ring as well, because the area where we deal more damage appears on the ground, just like in our regular build. I should use my horse a little bit longer. The build is breaking my sound driver, I can tell you that much. I recently bought an audio interface in order to more easily switch between my studio monitors and my headphones. I'm into music production a little bit lately, but not as much as I want. But again, it comes down to having too many passions, too many things to focus on. I know one of my favorite YouTubers, whose name I can't even remember at this point in time, so you can wonder how favorite he actually is. I think it's like something like Odysseus or something, made a video recently about you have so many passions but so little time, how to invest it. I haven't watched it yet, but I know it's going to be right up my alley. Partially because all of his videos are right up my alley. I really love his way of storytelling, his way of creating videos, his minimal style of editing, his aesthetic, and his coherence of thought for sure. And I think that video is also going to be right up my fancy because it's a problem right up my fancy. Because it's a problem I struggle with often. So many passions, so little time, so many things to learn, to explore, to enjoy. Just tonight, I was asked to go to a little party together with one of my colleagues, and I was really so doubtful because a part of me enjoys being outside, enjoys a little drink, enjoys just like being in between humans, and additionally listening to music because it was a musical event, so that's right up my alley as well. But I was like, no, I know for a fact that people with all these hobbies, like me, all these passions, one of the things they advise us to do is say no more often. Cancel your plans. Don't just say yes to anything if you really want to be able to use your time to the fullest extent. And that's why I'm here, recording Diablo 3 for you guys, instead of being outside and partying. Maybe that's more sad than inspiring, but I'm gonna keep it on sad, inspiring. A little Freudian slip there, but I'm gonna keep it on inspiring. Because I'm following my passion, and I'm not giving in to the temptation of alcohol. I'm just here for the Diablo, you know? Game settings, back to adventure, start the game again. We might switch up our pet again, to be honest. Make sure we don't automatically, out of habit, open up the challenge cache. But get it in our inventory, head straight to the altar of rights, and unlock our next little passive. Our next passive, which is down here. Melee damage reduction. Meh. Oh, we have enough for this as well. It's so beautiful. Right here. Double the amount of Dead's Breath that drop. Yes, please. And we're back to this shit. I guess we have the capacity already, so all we need to do is complete rifts, but I really find these steps of the altar so boring. Just collect blood shards. Yeah, okay, fine, cool. Wow, crazy. It's not that fun to do, but we'll do it nonetheless. And I guess we have our Greater Rift build equipped right now, with 7 Greater Rift keystones to go. 85 is still a little bit on the slow side, but I'll just do it because it does give me a lot of experience. Okay, here we go. A large, long intermezzo, but for the greater good. We became a little bit stronger. Not really in terms of like Greater Rift strength, except for, of course, the augmentation we did. And I think if we want to augment more, we will need to do some normal rifts again first to get more gems. Because they definitely drop more in normal rifts and while doing bounties and while going through the blue portals and stuff like that. A while back, I also read another book, of which I don't think there's gonna be an English translation, because it's a famous Belgian Flemish writer. His name is Arnon Grunberg. He's really one of, I think, the most well-known writers of our time. I might be tooting his horn a little bit too much. I might be buttering his egg roll too much there, but it's a name I hear a lot of times. And I read The Man Without Illness, a very weird book. A book about a Swiss architect with Indian roots called Sam, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. And he calls himself the Man Without Illness because his sister is really ill, has, I think... I'm looking for the right word, because I know you're not supposed to say is retarded anymore, and I don't want to sound offensive, but I'm looking for the correct term. Has a mental handicap, but that sounds weird too. I think it's both mental and physical. She has a disability, that's the word I'm looking for. Sorry if that's offensive to you, but I was just saying my thought process out loud and explicitly stating I did not want to use the R word. But then again, it's quite a controversial decision to then still say it out loud, because if I was saying something like, oh, I don't want to say the N word at all, I would never say the actual N word out loud. So, misstep by me, maybe. But I hope you see my good intentions and you know that I use language to convey beautiful messages and to convey nice things and not hate speech or bigotry. Another blue item. Ballista. We don't like ballistas in these parts of town. But I guess we will just pick it up. 5 more upgrades. We are doing a great job not dying in these greater rifts at least. And we are slowly but surely ticking up our damage further and further. So yeah, I guess I shouldn't have said the word out loud, but I was looking for disability. His sister has a disability and he compares himself to her as saying like, yeah, I'm the healthy one. I was never sick. I don't have anything wrong with me. Not that disability is something wrong with you, but I think you understand what I'm saying or what I'm trying to say. I miss that amount of damage so much. But this does not have the legendary passive we are looking for, so we move on. Next Greater Rift, please. And he gets sent on a mission, or he wins a contest to design an opera building. Is that the correct English pronunciation? An Oprah Winfrey building in Baghdad, in Israel or Iraq, one of those, I believe, or Palestine. It's somewhere along that coast, in that area of the Middle East. Not all of those countries are by a coast, but I digress. I'm not that great in that area in terms of geography. And he gets captured. They think that he is a spy. He gets mistreated. Spoiler alert, he gets beat on. And that's where the book becomes really weird, but maybe I shouldn't be so judgmental. But he then develops kind of a Stockholm syndrome in a sense of wanting to get beat on by his girlfriend because it makes him feel small and insignificant, and he wants her to call him dog, but the girlfriend then starts calling him little snail, which kind of hits the same vibe for him. I mean, is that just me or is that a weird book? And then it becomes even weirder, but because he gets another assignment to develop a building in Dubai, I believe, at least in a foreign country, again in that Middle Eastern area, and he gets confused to be a spy again, locked up, and they can't free him, so he gets the death sentence. I know I spoiled the entire book, but it's such a weird work. It's such a weird literary art form, expression, whatever you want to call it. I enjoyed my read a little bit. I understood a little bit why the author is so revered. I know a little bit about why people like him, but I feel like I need to give him another shot, read another book of him to really maybe follow along with what he's actually just trying to bring across, or with his writing style, or with the style of his stories, because confusion was definitely like the main thing I experienced throughout the entire read-through of that book. I still need to give it its second browse when I'm putting my notes in Obsidian, so I guess I have the chance to learn more about it and to feel more connected to the story. Interesting. Don't need that. This is interesting, but I think I'm fine with what I have right now. To feel more connected to the story, to feel more involved, feel more immersed. But I don't really think it's gonna happen. I think that book is just something I read and it made a little bit of an impression on me, but definitely nothing lasting, you know? And books can be like that. Not every book you read has to be a life changer. And that's something I should tell myself more often, because I think the rigorous analysis I try to employ with every book I read tries to convey that message to me that, yeah, I need to get some life-changing lessons out of every single book I read, you know? That I'm not practicing what I preach, but I'm preaching and not practicing, and that's dangerous. Especially as a psychologist, that means that my mental health can greatly deteriorate, but I digress. I feel like by my method of reading, I am maybe putting the bar too high for books that don't actually aspire to be life-changing in the first place. So I'm looking for value in a place where the author explicitly didn't include that kind of value. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm expressing myself quite clearly, and I feel like it's quite a profound, interesting thought that I have right here. I think because of all the videos I watch on how to read, how to annotate books, how to do literary analysis, how to read academically, how to read for your PhD, that I put this emphasis on understanding every single word, on being able to reuse every single word, being able to retell every aspect of the story in its smallest intricacies and details. And I'm overdoing it probably. I'm stressing myself out just because I feel like I need to know anything. I need to know everything, rather. Just because I feel like, oh yeah, this is a book and I'm spending time on it, so that time has to be perfectly spent in the most productive way possible. It's not true. Sometimes you can just enjoy something lightheartedly without it having to be amazing or life-changing or crazy, or it doesn't always even have to convey any lessons to you at all. If it's just a nice pastime, then by all means, still just enjoy reading that book. Don't hold yourself up to the standard that I hold myself up to, because you won't become happier out of it. It's something I told one of my clients recently that was wondering about, like, how does anybody ever have hobbies? Because everything is so exhausting, right? And then I said to her as well, like, reading a book, watching a show, watching a movie, how is that exhausting? And she was like, well, I need to review all of that. I need to understand the book. I need to make sure I get value out of it. And I was telling her, like, nah, not necessarily always, you know? So I, again, practice more what I preach. I feel like I might be doing that in general, in terms of what I'm telling my clients to do. I feel like what I tell my clients to do in terms of relationship struggles, I definitely try to implement that into my own relationship. Open communication, talking about feelings without putting them away or without letting them fester, without letting them grow like a cancer, but just discussing them. I'm not perfect in that sense, neither is my girlfriend, but we're trying. I feel like in terms of work-life balance, in terms of having a nice active social life, in terms of balancing your life between exercise, other fun activities, productivity, and, well, maybe that's the only domain where I still have a lot of work to do, or one of the only domains where I still have a lot of work to do, but in general, a lot of things I need to or try to help clients with are domains where I feel okay, where I feel like I have my shit figured out a little bit at least. Not to the fullest extent, because I don't think anybody has that, and I don't think I want my clients or require my clients to figure out everything to the fullest extent, because that's just inachievable. That's an insurmountable barrier you form for yourself, and you're never going to be able to be happy then, I think, if you try to live a life that is perfect on every single domain and perfectly balanced in all your undertakings. It's impossible. It's a nice goal to strive towards, to approximate, to come close to kind of approach, if you will. But not something you should literally strive for. Because then you will lose yourself in the moment. You want it, you never let it go, mom spaghetti, something like that. And that's not what we want. I would kill for some of mom spaghetti right now. That's not what I'm trying to say. But this blade was immensely large, right? Yeah. I thought, did I just see it? Hello, Mr. Skeletons. Can you fuck off, please? The rift is done. A pair of boots that I don't need, a pair of arm guards for my regular rift build. If they are ancient, I will definitely stow them away, but otherwise it's another inventory that will get completely annihilated. Just like this next tier in the Altar of Rites will get annihilated, and just like this recording session is about to get annihilated as well, because I want to read some pages in... Plus 5% damage is so boring. I want to read some pages into the wild before I go to sleep. Even though I've already read quite a lot today, I still have some room for it. I exercised as well, I read, I did a lot for my education, I did some work, so made some actual money, invested a lot of time in YouTube as well, so yeah, all in all, it is ancient. All in all, happy, satisfied, fulfilled, as I said, like, not only in terms of how my clients went, but also in terms of just like general enjoyment of the day. It was a nice day. It was a beautiful day. It was one of the best days ever. That's not true at all. It was just like a regular old day. But sometimes those regular old days hold beauty that you might not behold if you don't look closely enough. Now that's a bombshell to end this recording segment off on, right? Okay. Thank you for watching this part. Hope to see you in the next one. Have a nice evening, morning, midday, wherever you are. Bye-bye. Hi. Welcome back. Welcome to part, in reality, 8 in the video. It's going to be 7 because of the one missed part where I forgot to press record. Well, I didn't forget to press record. My microphone forgot to press record. I'm going to move my mouth a little bit further away from the microphone or just lower the volume a little bit because I noticed in the last part there was a little bit of clipping. And we don't want that. We don't want that at all. It's a hard balance to find between being close enough to not... Ooh, a little potential ancient... Oh, we already have an ancient one. It's a hard balance to find between being close enough to not include too many background noises, but being far enough to not introduce clipping into the mix as well. I feel like it's so stupid, and maybe this is just me being a giant wuss, and just not investing enough time into simple things, but it's so stupid that there's no automatic feature in OBS to detect the best mic settings, or that there's no one solution for everyone that just is like, yeah, do this, add these effects because that will sound the best. I don't have the ear capacities. I don't hear the subwoofer amounts of hertz. I don't hear the dolphin highs well enough to really determine which filters and effects work best, which distance from my mouth works best. Long story short, I wish I knew how to make my voice sound even more crisp. I know from a random anomaly video that if you really want to make your voice overs sound crisp, you can just put a little blanket over your head with the additional bonus of the outside world not having to see your disgusting face for a while, so that's nice. But in general, while just recording this, sitting here with a blanket over me, it's not going to be the best approach. Again, you guys will not be able to see this hot son of a bitch, so maybe after all it is actually the right approach. It would get excruciatingly hot for me to do that though, so I think, yeah, maybe this approach is a little bit better. And maybe, just maybe, I should accept that my voice is not always gonna sound like crisp, not always gonna sound like honey, not always gonna be perfect. it's a great exercise for me, especially when I'm recording with my real camera outside of the confines of my little office here, because then my microphone sounds like absolute ass. So maybe I just need to get used to the videos not being picture perfect. And I mean, let's be honest with you, with myself. Let's keep it a stack. Let's keep it a buck with every single one here, including myself. The microphone audio is not the biggest problems for my videos not sounding amazing, right? It is the fact that I am a washed up psychologist trying to make it as a content creator without having the right pronunciation, without having insightful things to say, not funny, not handsome, never ordered 1 million beers at the restaurant, always go for a little Aperol Spritz and stuff like that. You know, there's so much more wrong than just a mic audio. And I should not kid myself, and not kid you, and not Nicole, kid man, any of us. That's my 2 cents on that subject. A calm, nice and cool and collected Sunday today. I feel like I need it. I'm a person with quite the how do I express this? Quite the unexhaustible, unextinguishable flame or energy or battery when it comes to doing stuff, when it comes to planning stuff, when it comes to social activities, all that good stuff that we love and enjoy in our lives as human beings, or I do at least. A very social person, I think. But today I feel we might have been overdoing it this week a little bit, especially yesterday. Yesterday was just one of the most chaotic days I've had in a while. Or do we need to save blood shards for anything? No, but what are we gonna use it for? We're just gonna look for rings because we still have a lot of ancient rings to get, or are we gonna look for weapons? Can we get ethereal weapons from this? Let's try it on for size. Well, that's at least 2 proofs that we can get legendary items, but I don't know if we can get ethereal items from Kadala. But I think if we can, that might actually be the best approach to upgrade our build further, because otherwise we will just start rolling for random ancient legendary set pieces, which is I guess also nice, but a little bit more boring. I'm gonna start off the video with 1 more regular rift, then we're gonna try our hand on the infernal machines to create an ancient hellfire amulet to further upgrade our altar of rights, and then we will head back into some greater rift action, the real deal, the real stuff that we are focusing on. What was I talking about before this? Yeah, my busy weekend. Yesterday I woke up, went for a walk with a friend I normally go running with, but she is now pregnant. I can finally I was gonna say I can finally say this, but I don't think many people that watch these videos, and especially not this video and this part, knows my running friend personally, and is gonna be like, oh, I didn't know she was pregnant. I digress. The walk was very fun. It was at 9 in the morning. Then at 11, I had 1 client. I sometimes work on Saturdays, which is a habit I should get rid of a little bit because I'm working too many days a week. Anyway, it was okay. The client was always nice. I mean, I don't need to prepare that much because, to be completely blunt with you, he doesn't need that much. I feel like he mainly needs to just, and I heard the goblins or Jubery, he mainly needs just a location to talk a little bit, just to rant about how his day has been, to rant about how it's going at school. And he's not that interested in things like, whatchamacallit, he's not that interested in therapeutic techniques. He's not that interested in discovering himself further, in developing more healthy habits. He just wants to talk for an hour, and I'm fine with that. I could get myself worked up, get myself into a tissy. Is that the correct expression? Get myself into a tissy about it and be like, oh, but we need to make progress all the time, and I need to use all my therapeutic techniques on you, because otherwise why are we doing this? But I've come to accept that some clients just gladly thank you for your time, to have the feeling that they can just express their emotions, express their stories, express their feelings without change needing to happen immediately. And that guy is definitely one of those people, and I just accept that. I accept that. It's not that I take everything for granted, that I think, oh, I can just be there without any preparation. I always reread our previous conversation at least, for example. But in general, not the hardest conversation to prepare for, and that's why I do it on Saturdays, because I'm okay with that. I'm gonna lower my voice down a little bit more. Hopefully editing Onkruid will check whether The sound is still fine. What are we doing with our blood shards? What are we doing here? Are we looking for that ancient chest piece per any chance? Okay, guess we can just do whatever we want, right? We have all the time in the world. After that, I went to a friend, a very dear friend to me, who had her birthday on Friday and invited us for a nice little brunch on Sunday. Not ancient right now, it's not. This is not either. I really love being there, even though I only got to experience the final, well, the final couple of hours, I guess, because we were still there for a while. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It was fun to see all those people again, because we don't see each other all that often anymore. Multi-grader, yes, re-equip this. We don't need any of that, so we can save it again for sure. These 2 gems can be stowed away. Switch up the gear again for the homie. And then let's try our hand on these infernal machines, shall we? Are they called infernal machines? Yeah, okay, thank you, brain. We have some opportunities to clear out some of them. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna just use and then go to the portal, because I often step into the trap or create the trap for me, to be honest, of like putting all of them down and then not realizing which one I need to go to and which one I've done already, and then heading into the wrong portal, and it transforms into a large giant mess. And that's something we want to avoid at this point in time, so this is a better approach. And I wonder why I have never thought about this before, and I always do it like this, because this just seems so much more logical. Can that cloud of purple butterflies stay away, please? Thank you. Did that give us 3? I think it gave us 3 of the crafting materials, right? So that's 3 opportunities. Okay, we've done this. Realm 2 it is. This is the way of getting the materials you need for Hellfire rings and Hellfire amulets, by the way. Items that I think have kind of fallen by the wayside. I don't think they are used often. Even though they have the potential to, I think, give you some strength, considering they can give you a whole additional passive, if I'm not mistaken. There my buddy Simon is. Oh, fuck. It's this one, right? Yeah, okay. I wasn't paying attention. Buddy Simon, just saw him this morning when I helped him move his sofa to his new apartment. Or, well, I helped put the sofa in my dad's car, and my dad drove to Mechelen with him. Moved from Leuven to Mechelen, the bad boy. Further out of my reach. No longer able to convince him to eat bami schijven, the best frituursnack you ever made. But I guess that's the price you pay. Sometimes you just grow apart in life. And I hope I never see him again, to be honest, considering he doesn't like the goodness of a bami schijf. It's a very polarizing snack here in Belgium. It's basically noodles with some nice and spicy sauce, intertwined with some vegetables, some small cut up vegetables in a nice orange coat of spicy crustiness. Some people just can't handle the heat, I guess. Let's make one for the dexterity, I guess, because that's the one we would be using if we would actually make a Hellfire amulet right now. And we are looking for an ancient one. Chances are that we are not going to get it right now and that we will need to do 4 more. But that's fine. Let's try again. I have patience. I am an old school RuneScape player after all, so these types of grinds, they are no match for me. Just like Sport told us in Aztec, you are no match for me. No, in 1-up, I think. Ha 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 ha. Some very classic old drum and bass. Maybe not that old, but it's one of the types of drum and bass I grew up with. Sport. Talented producer, group of producers, no idea, to be honest. Kind of grew out of them a little bit, or they don't play a major role in my life anymore, but I thoroughly enjoyed starting my drum and bass journey with that fella or those fellows. Also yesterday, after that brunch, I was supposed to drink a coffee with my buddy Simon, who just came online and started playing WoW. But I felt, and I'm proud of myself for doing this self-care activity, I felt like, nah, this day is too busy already. Me and my girlfriend still had to go to the store, had to get more cat food. And I knew that I had to save my energy a little bit for the evening. because in the evening was when the real fun started. That's when I went for the second time to join the Leuven night run. I've probably talked about this on the Onkruid channel before, but it's been a year ago, so understanding if you don't remember that, or if you haven't seen that video where I talk about it, I wouldn't know which video it is, to be honest, either, so I'm not gonna blame you. I'll see it through my fingers, as we say in Belgium. We did this one, right? I think now I'm doubling up. Although I thought I was moving from left to right. Interesting. Very interesting. That was so much fun again. We were gonna do it with the same squad as last year, but that includes my running buddy who, as I told you, is carrying a child. So she didn't want to take the risk because our regular running dates have been rescheduled to after the childbirth. So running 10 kilometers together is not going to be the best approach for her either. And another friend stepped in. A friend that has only started running since this summer, so she was doubtful. Doubtful to say the least about whether she would be able to keep up, whether she would be able to complete those 10 kilometers, and I am so proud of her for doing it. Give me the ancient one, please. Okay. Really like a commendable endeavor she embarked upon. And she completed it with the greatest of ease. Not the greatest of ease. She had a little bit of pain in her knees, in her ankles, in her hips. Something she still feels today, she told me. But from running 5 kilometers on her own to immediately running 10 kilometers in such a group, and late at night, an hour when she normally sleeps because she works in schools, I'm impressed. I'm impressed to say the least. I'm also very proud of myself and of my other buddy for completing the run again, but this is gonna sound very boastful, cocky. It's gonna sound like I am from the city of Antwerp for a second, but I kinda knew that it would not be a hassle. Purely for myself. I'm not speaking for my other friend that joined me last year as well. But for me, I knew like, yeah, last year I felt like I could really take on the world even after doing that 10-kilometer run. So this year I knew like, yeah, this is gonna be not a cakewalk, not a piece of cake, not a walk in the park. It's still kilometers, it's still running at night in a large group. So, I mean, it's not like completely easy or completely trivial. But I knew, yeah, I'll do this again. I might also experience some small pains at some times, but I'll definitely go on until the end and get through this in one piece, which is real, by the way. And I did thoroughly enjoy the surrounding again. If you don't know, it's called the Leuven night run because it's through the city where I live in Leuven. And every year, they try to include some different buildings, some different activities in the mix where you normally don't come often throughout the day. But now you run through them at night. Things like the city hall, the town hall, and the rooms where they get married. Things like the football stadium. Things like the city archives where they keep important documents. Through libraries, through bars, through cultural centers. We really did some of all. And it was such a beautiful experience again. You don't often get time to enjoy all of the surroundings, because you are kind of focused on not tripping or not running into the people in front of you, but it's definitely worth it. I will not even identify these, to be honest, because I don't really care about any of them. Just make sure I don't disenchant the ancient one, because that is the one we need. And I am very glad with the amount of time that took for us, because it was not that long at all. I have to open up my build real quick to see what altar of right step I need to pick. But you guys are, of course, patient. My girlfriend and that very dear friend that had to opt out of the run because of her pregnancy spent some time supporting us on the sidelines. And it was such a nice additional benefit to being there. Okay, sure. Because that really felt fun. I think I can get all of these, right? Do we have all sets? Oh, we definitely threw all of those items away though. But do you need to have the item? Do you need to have the set to pick up the set dungeon page. Demon Hunter set dungeon pages. 4 tome of set dungeon pages. You get these pieces. You get the pieces of the 4 sets that has the dungeons, or the gifted one too. Okay. Okay, so we need to wear the full set. So now comes a point where we will be angry at ourselves for not keeping all the set items and forgetting that we actually need all of them. But I guess collecting set items it is then for now, huh? Oh, God damn it, why do I forget about that every single time? Do we... Keep it a stack with me. I was gonna say, do we not even have the Natalia set anymore? But at least we have that still going for us, which is nice. So that we can do, that we can equip. But yeah, it's no use doing that right now. I guess we can then, because the set we're wearing... Well, we're not gonna get a page for the Natalia set because it's a set you get from the season. I don't think it works like that. So there's a lot of collecting for us to be done right now. My assumption is that that will then be the last Altar of Right upgrades I get right now, because I feel like we hopefully get the Primal Ancient item before we have to collect all those sets, but hey, you never know. You never know what life throws at you. We have a mixture of our Greater Rift and Regular Rift builds equipped right now. We did not even equip Focus and Restraint yet in this build. That's crazy. That's so dumb. Unequip all of this. Like that, like that. Re-equip the rings. God damn it. Re-equip the rings. Save the build. I think that's the only change we have to make at this point in time. Put these 2 rings away. It doesn't really matter where. And I guess let's just head into some greater rifts for the remainder of this recording session. 85 seems nice. We have some gold again to empower now because of the normal rifts we did at the start of this. So we can just go ham again. It's a balance to be found as well while doing such a run with friends you adore. Between like, do I want to be speedy and run at the tempo, the pace I really want to run it and show my running prowess to the world and to myself? Or do I want to make it a social activity, stay together and really, really enjoy each other's company? For me personally, the answer is quite clear. Yeah, no, I want to stay together, and I want to make sure that we are enjoying this run together, because we enlisted together, we started together, let's end this thing together as well. Just like Tom and Harry at the end of Lord of the Rings, my favorite Star Wars film. If you start something together, you end something together as well, right? I think it's only true. I think it's only fair is what I meant to say. And one of my friends, the friend that is the most inexperienced when it comes to running, I can just say it like that. There's no hard feelings included. She would definitely agree with me. She asked us to slow down like 2 or 3 times because she was starting to feel it, but like only towards the last 2 kilometers. So completely understandable. Again, from running 5 kilometers to 10 without any steps in between, without any severe training, mad respect. And if it takes a little slower pace for you to finish that without really injuring yourself, whew, that is the most by all means of all by all meanses that I have ever experienced in my life, I think, in that case. And no hard feelings at all. She was telling me all the time, like, oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. This is probably so stupid for you. This is probably boring for you. If you want to run ahead, just do it. You don't have to wait for me. You guys don't have to wait for me, because she told me and my other friend, the more experienced runner, whom I did it with last year as well. And we were both like, girl, shut the fuck up. We are here to do this together. We are not gonna leave you behind, and we don't want to leave you behind. Thought for 1 second I saw a red border there. We want to do this together. We want to be in here together up until the final point of the run. I'm quickly gonna just get this to... Well, not right now. Well... Yeah, sure, I'll quickly get this to 25 as well, because it's the gem that we use in our Rift build to make sure our Squirts necklace is always enabled. A necklace I also always enable when I'm with your mom in the evenings. I'm so sorry, that's just completely uncalled for. Ooh, an Oryx Dream. That's the first one of the season for me. If you don't know about that, it's a rare variety of Rift you can get where all the monsters or the enemies are really clumped up. The path is quite linear, so it's just a very nice one for farming experience in this case, I guess, considering it's a Greater Rift, and a very nice one for setting new Greater Rift speedrun records. Need to make sure that I don't forget to auto-attack as well, to use my Evasive Fire for my Focus and Restraint variety. Now that I have it equipped again, I definitely need to use it. Before we went for a run, we also went for dinner together. Had an amazing, amazing chickpea burger with some potato wedges and some vegan tzatziki at a lovely, lovely restaurant in Leuven called The Beach. They only serve vegan things and the food is delicious. Automatically, my train of thought, the way I wanted to finish off that sentence, immediately diverted to, or immediately went to, they only serve vegan things, but it's delicious. And that's just bullshit. I'm glad I corrected myself, because it makes it sound like you have to expect vegan things to be less delicious. And I think some people do, but that restaurant really, really proves the opposite. Proves that the opposite is true. That vegan can be beautiful. And I'm gonna be really honest with you guys for a second. Love that food way more than some of the meat-focused restaurants, or some of the restaurants focusing regular dishes than I have been to. I'm not that big of a meat guy. Unless if it's about, like, major penises that I have to suck, then I'm a big meat guy. But other than that, give me saucy dishes, give me pasta dishes, give me pizzas, give me just anything except for this big lump of meat. That's not what I'm here for. That's not what I enjoy the most. I enjoy flavors. I don't enjoy protein, you know? Shoulders. They are already ancient, so we're not really gonna get much gains out of that, but I guess we will clean out our inventory at this point in time. Was it a new speed record? I guess not. So even without Oryx Dream, we've already done a faster rift. That's impressive. I guess this didn't feel like the best Oryx Dream layout, to be honest. Just to get rid of all of this stuff. We already have one socketed or in the cube. We don't need any of these. Yang's Recurve, we have some of that as well. Augustine's Pancreas. Well, if we change reduced cooldown to crit, because it already has a socket, I think that's actually better. And Natalia's we don't need to keep because that's the reward build. So, okay. I think if we enchant the cooldown to something like critical hit damage or critical hit chance, I'll be happy with either one, just a high roll, to be honest. Damage is up until 50, chance is 6, so this is already a nice roll for chance. Let's just roll a little bit further. No critical hit things to be seen. It rolls up to 50, so I'm definitely not taking 28. Just, okay. What's it looking like? Plus 6% damage. Yeah, that's quite a decent upgrade. Which one is it? Focus, right? Yes, it is focus. So we can salvage the old one. Equip. Oh yeah, beautiful. A little bit less toughness, but something we will have to deal with. My computer all of a sudden just started lifting itself up the ground. It's not ancient, is it? It's a little bit better, but not good enough. Yeah, no, that's not good enough. Disenchant all of the blues and all of the yellows. Disenchant this one. Again, 2 times Natalia, so we don't need that. And let's head into another Greater Rift and finish off our recording session with doing that. Friday I worked, had quite a long working day. And in the evening, I went to a concert. Went to a concert by Waste. Represent, the little Belgian band. From Aarschot even, so from the city I went to high school in. I don't know the singer personally, but I know people that know him, and I would love to get to know him personally because I enjoy their music. A bit post-punky, a bit like Steak, another Belgian band, one of the greats to be honest. And the concert was not only Waste, they invited 2 other bands, or well, they played together with 3 bands. I don't know which band really invited which one, but the other 2, goddamn did they surprise me. I suspected me to like Ronker, a punk rock band, also post-punk, post-metal, progressive rock, whatever you want to call it. I'm not that big in thinking in genres either way. From Ghent, so Belgian again, 3 times Belgium. They were amazing. I'm definitely gonna see them again. Really loved the texts, the binding texts, the main singer provided as well. He was always complimenting the crowd, even though the crowd was a little bit on the smaller side. He really seemed to enjoy the energy and the vibe, the vibrations that were going on there. And then the other band was Lich, a band I never heard of before, pretty much in a similar genre, and they blew me away. That singer was a singer, if that makes sense, you know? He really had a beautiful voice. Their mixing, the audio they produced was also insanely nice. The vocals really outshined the instruments, and that's what I love. I kinda hate it when all of the instruments are just way louder than the vocals and you can't even hear the singer or the lyrics. But they had a perfect balance. One of the concert rooms, one of the concert venues in Belgium, the AB, the Ancienne Belgique, really always does this amazingly. They have the best sound in all of Belgium, in my opinion. But this was well done as well, even for being such a small show in such a small venue. Enjoyable audio. And just Waste, the boys I went to see, yeah, they also just were amazing. I'm glad I went there, together with my girlfriend, together with one of my dear friends, and you can start picking up a little bit of a pattern here. I find almost all of my friends to be very dear friends. Some people might call that unhealthy, some people might not appreciate it. I know my girlfriend is a little bit hesitant towards it, towards the amount of people I let into my close circles, but man oh man do I love being around people that I love. And I love a lot of people. Nothing there to use. 29 minutes in. I'll just hit him up with one more. Considering the speed at which we are clearing these greater rifts with, yeah, let's just fit one more into there now over here. The rest of the day is then gonna be filled with the little family party that my mom is organizing, and big ups to her as well. The message she sent in the family group chat was something like, the weather is getting a bit more shit. Autumn started like yesterday, literally, so the weather has been a bit less summery. The leaves are falling down from the ground, shout out Billy Talent, but also the temperature is not rising. Temperature is lowering. There's a bit more rain. There's just a little bit more grayness, a little bit more grimness. Halloween's coming up, you know, the day of the saints days. The holidays for Christmas are coming up as well, but in general it's getting colder, it's getting grayer, it's getting less enjoyable to sit outside with an iced latte, even though that's what I still did this morning. Maybe as a final little remnant, finally, the final little suckle of the teeth of summer that I could get in before things really go to shit. And my mother was like, you know, the antidote to this weather is coming together right now and having a little bit of family time. So, headed over there to eat some sausages, some mashed apples, applesauce, and some krieken. I would not know what the English translation is for that. It's a kind of, it's closely resembled to cherries, but in a nice red, velvety, silky, sweet sauce. Belgian classic cuisine. And the exciting part, kind of the, not stressful part, but yeah, exciting is I guess just the right word. The part where you're like, ooh, I don't know what that's gonna be like or how that's gonna go, is the fact that my brother is bringing over his new girlfriend for the first time. It's interesting, to say the least. He's been broken up with his girlfriend for a while now already. They had some tough periods towards the end of their relationship without wanting to air their dirty laundry completely or anything like that. She still is part of my life because she hangs out with my girlfriend often, and she is in the same therapy education I'm in, so when we have therapy weekends where we go into group therapy with the entire group, do I really need to run all the way back there? I thought he would teleport on top of my face, which I wish Chun-Li from Street Fighter would also do with her thunder ties. So it's interesting to realize that he is moving on a little bit. Good for him, and I really hope that the family will be nice on her and she will enjoy her time in our family. But To put it very bluntly, I'm glad she's meeting this part of the family first, because the other family, the other part of the family, the other half of the family, my father's self, they can be intense, to say the least. Not always in a very positive sense, to be honest, but I've talked about that on the Onkruid channel as well sometimes. That makes it a bit more exciting and a bit more like, don't know what to expect. I'm curious to see how it will go. That's not ancient. Keep that, please. Realms is not something we need to keep, but let's start building up some other builds in the back alley of our storage room, in the second chest even. Alrighty. Another recording session down. No red beams to be seen. Unless if Kadale gives me a primal chest armor right now. Which she does not, but that's ancient, even though we don't need it. 2 chest pieces, 2 set pieces, not blackthorns, please. There we go. Let's just get all of the set items together. So you two can come along over to here. I think these two fit together. This is for the Hungering Arrow, or this is for the, yeah, for the Hungering Arrow build, which is very nice. Played that a while often. Natalia's we don't need. The Shadow and the Shadow as well. Okay. Stacking up those set items slowly but surely. Thank you very much for watching this part. I hope to see you in the next part as well. And I hope you have a nice Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday. Don't know why I switched 2 days around, but hey, I'm quirky like that. Bye-bye. And welcome back to the next part. Hi. Immediately after recording the previous one. Kind of close to immediately at least. I had a little bit of a lunch, some leftover pasta from 2 days ago, but I feel sharp, I feel motivated, I feel like I want to record some more. So here we are, strap in for another half an hour of brain rot discussions about anything and nothing at the same time. I don't even know if I can really call them discussions, considering I'm just sitting here talking to myself, but in my mind I'm talking to all of you. All of you being that one single person that is here out of pity. So that makes it kind of a discussion at least. And I would love to hear your points on some of the topics, but then again, you can't really convey them to me at this point in time, so I will just take my W and you can take your L's for not being able to defend you even in the slightest, and I guess we will move on until our ways potentially cross again. I feel like that's a form of content that has a lot of potential, right? Controversial name in that field is Sneaky, but Sneeko rather. Sneaky is a controversial name for his own parts, mainly his very gay humor. I digress. Sneeko grew or became large, I think, first of all, and that's when I discovered him and enjoyed his content for just opening up a little table in, I think, the New York City subway, if I'm not mistaken, and just debating people, or just telling people like, what's your opinion on this, give your opinion on this, or my opinion is this, try to change my mind, like the meme. And I think there's a lot of potential in that content if you are not like Sneeko. If you don't use it to push your, and I'll say it, Cherry, I'll just go out and say it, push your degenerate political and just social ideological agenda. QTs is a good movie, changed my mind, things like that, you know. That's not what we want to achieve with that type of content or that type of idea, but having heartfelt discussions with people that you would otherwise just pass by on the street and not even exchange a word with. Now I think that is worth something, worth quite a lot maybe. I just saw a little particle of spit leave my mouth at Mach 5 and just straight into my computer screen, which I've noticed the previous couple of days that I really do just need to clean off in general as well. Oh, okay. I think we got all of our upgrades out of the way. And our gem that we use in the Rift build that we don't use right now, but is now level 25, so our, whatchamacallit, Squirt's necklace passive will stay alive longer, hopefully. Pants. The pants we have are already ancient. And even better focus. I think I'm not gonna dabble in it. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. If it was ancient, I would definitely replace it, but by now, should not have disenchanted those boots. Need to get back into the mindset of like, keep set items at this point in time. bear with me, please. You need some patience before my brain really starts to work. What about those chest armors, huh? You have any chest armors for me? You have a lot of chest armors for me. I looked it up, and the ethereal items cannot be gained from either the cube, we can up the difficulty a little bit, or from Kadala. So it's no use rolling for two-handed weapons, to be honest. We will just need to spot it in the wild. And the satisfaction is a lot larger also if things drop. If you see the red beam on the minimap and if it doesn't just appear in your inventory. So I'm actually quite glad that you're not able to get them from Kadala. But then again, no, first of all, but also then again, I really would love to get it sooner or later. That item, that fated item with either the down passive or the Yang's recurve passive on it, because they will really change up our build largely. They will probably, I'll go out and say it, I'll go out on a limb and state this. I think they will make it quite trivial to run Greater Rift level 90. They will bump us up to 100 Greater Rift difficulty almost immediately, in my opinion. This build is not made for Greater Rift pushing. It's made for trash killing in low level Rift. So the fact that we are strolling through tier 90 at this point in time is already quite impressive in my book. So don't get me wrong, I'm very satisfied with the progress we have made on this build, with the pieces we have collected together and the puzzle we have laid to deal these heaps of damage. It's quite okay in my books. I'm satisfied, I'm happy. I'm glad I chose Demon Hunter and I'm glad I chose the multi-shot build. Maybe missing the feel of Impale or the God Hungering Arrow a little bit, but this build is just kind of unparalleled in that feeling of, oh, there's a screen of enemies in front of me, goodbye. Oh, another screen of enemies, goodbye. One little pet peeve I have with it maybe is that it also doesn't use vault, and I love the feeling of vaulting around the map, just like I love the feeling of dashing, of using Radiant Dash with the Monk. Just something so satisfying about that. But if that's like the smallest piece of criticism I have for the build, then I hope you can realize together with me that that's okay. If that's all the negativity you have to spread about something, then the main gist or the main lesson you should get out of that is that it's quite a positive thing you are talking about. And this Diablo build, it's quite a positive thing I'm talking about. A lot of words to say almost nothing at all, if we're going to be completely honest with everyone involved here. And if I'm going to be honest with myself, but like, sometimes that's what the commentary devolves into, you know? Sometimes that's just how it is. Still reading Into the Wild, so no new current book discussions, but I want to add on to my thoughts about the book a little bit, because this morning and the last couple of days I was diving into a chapter written obviously by Krakauer, because he's the author of the book, John Krakauer, but also written about Krakauer himself, a little bit of an autobiographical side of the book for a second, and I thoroughly enjoyed that, because you can see the parallels between Krakauer's answer to the call to the wild and Chris, the main character's answer to the call of the wild, and it kind of shows me why this fella is so interested in Chris's life, in Alexander Supertramp's life, and why he wanted to write a book about him in the first place. Because they have some similarities. A Templar relic, hey, who knows? Maybe it's ancient. It is not. And gain access to all skills is not what we want at all. So down the drain with you. All the rest of these items can also just disappear. An ancient Ingeom, well, why not? If we're keeping one for whatever reason, then why not make it an ancient one that we're keeping, right? Just to flex on. Just to flex on all the people that get an insight into my bank, which is almost nobody. Let's go for helmets. Because we have a lot of chest pieces from the sets right now. The helmets might be a nice addition. Well, a lot of chest pieces, we have 2. But hey, Shadow, 3 pieces already. Only 2 more to go. You need the 6 set piece bonus enabled in order to get the set dungeon tome. But with our Ring of Royal Grandeur socketed nicely into our Kanai's cube, we only need 5 pieces still. A little life hack. A little Diablo 3 life hack. Don't hear them often. Other than that, yesterday I was well, no. First of all, finish my thoughts. Do I have anything more to say about Into the Wild? the author talked about his endeavors making a very, very difficult climb as well. And it's crazy to think how it's kind of butterfly-esque that made me feel. Butterfly effect-esque that made me feel. In a sense of that author describes his near-death experience because of his insubordinate behavior towards people with reason, like his parents, his resistance behavior towards authorities in general and towards common sense, really, in terms of like how well prepared you should be to make a climb like the one he was gonna make. One more misstep, or if the weather didn't clear up on some of the days he was attempting his own climb, he might have not been there. If he was not there, would we have ever heard the story of Chris McCandless in such detail? Would the article about him ever be published, let alone the book? Would Eddie Vedder ever be singing his sweet tones about society into our ears in movie theaters when we were watching Into the Wild? No, maybe not. And that's a scary but cool idea that I sometimes just stumble upon while meandering through the idea world inside of my own brain, while pondering what it means to be human and all that good shit that keeps you up at night and allows you to not sleep the next day and makes you realize that even though you help clients, you need help yourself. Okay, all of those things sometimes culminate in these ideas of like the smallest things can have the largest effects. Especially in terms of like the effects I have on my clients. I think, for example, sometimes maybe that, oh, this session doesn't mean anything, but afterwards I will realize for them that session might have been life-changing. And that's tooting my own horn to such a large extent that I even become a little bit ashamed while just saying it out loud. But it can happen. I promise you, it can happen. I'm a good therapist, okay? Shout out to my underwear in the background as well today. Socks, friendship ended. Underwear, the washing machine was finished, so friendship with underwear started. It's an okay roll on the critical hit damage. We will definitely reroll the lightning skills into something, but we need both a socket and, oops, sorry for that heinous noise, sticky keys. We needed both a socket and another damage roll to make it worth anything really, so that was no use. Let's quickly spice things up a little bit. We socketed the Chaldean's Despair into this piece of gear already. Let's use it for our boots as well. It's a free damage upgrade, so we really should just give it priority for the ancient items we have already. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we can actually use all of these up if you really want to. But I must say that this is not the coolest content in my books, like these Echoing Nightmares. They're a little bit on the boring side, maybe, even if I'm just being completely honest with you. They just feel so repetitive. And especially the first stages. I feel like the skipping of stages that already happens now, if they see like, okay, you're overpowered for these tiers, will bump you up in increments of 3. That could be even intenser. They could bump you up to 50, and then if they realize, okay, this is going well, to 75. If you one-shot everything on the screen, just let me skip the first stages. But I'm nagging. Nagging about things that are just quality of life related and don't actually warrant any nagging on my part. Like, I should just shut up and enjoy the game. And be thankful that they kept adding new mechanics to it, like this little adventure into the Echoing Nightmare, because, well, yeah, it's cool. It's cool that they keep adding new things to a game so old. Well, kept adding new things, because at this point in time they don't. I saw that Diablo 4 was on sale, and I was thinking about it. I was thinking about selling my soul, putting all my criticism to the side, and just trying it on for size, trying it out, which is, I think, not a bad approach to life. Like, don't always just trust what you hear online or what you hear your friends say about things, but really test it out for yourself. In the end, I didn't do it yet. But I feel like I might dabble in that game in a little bit. Who knows, maybe record even a little bit. And something else I want to record, after talking with a good friend of mine, again, every friend of mine is a good friend of mine apparently, Alice, a content creator herself, she used to be, I guess. about the Lego Harry Potter game that she is playing and that I played on the channel. She told me like, yeah, that was one of my favorite shows or my favorite series on your channel in general because I could follow along. I knew the story, the games were easy, so I knew what was happening. Your commentary was fun, the edits were fun. That got me thinking, I think I have Lego Lord of the Rings or Lego The Hobbit in my Steam library, untouched. Like, by all means, I should give it a swirl, you know? I should get back into such a story-driven game. But then the internal critic comes up and it tells me, well, that's all cool, that's all nice, that's all fun. You love playing video games, they are fun video games. You love the Lord of the Rings stories as well, so it's a nice fit for the channel. But then my internal critic comes up and it's like, what about The Witcher though? Because you are playing The Witcher 3. You should finish that series first. Which is such an immense task. It's such an immense task, but I understand what my internal critic is getting at. Don't start another new series. Don't go looking for new things again. It's kind of a similar feeling to when you start that new Minecraft world for the third time this year after 3 months of not playing. Do you actually want to start punching trees again? And I guess the answer for me is yes, because I love the start of a Minecraft world more than I love any other part, I think. Especially because all the friends I play with often just stop playing when the other parts become fun, like really building with all the materials in the game, because you're in the late game phase. I digress a little bit though. I think a similar thing could happen there. A similar thing could happen there of like always looking for new stuff instead of finishing the project you already embarked upon. Then again though, those Lego games are so fun. And I shouldn't gatekeep myself from having fun. The Witcher is also fun, but it requires more effort than those Lego games probably do. And now that my therapy education is about to start again, I need to make sure that I have the time to actually create the series that I want to create. Conduit is not the biggest game changer, but we need something before we get overwhelmed. And I'm going to try and make my way to all of the pylons right now, because I definitely don't want to get overwhelmed before having used the power pylon, which we will use as the final one. Because that is the one you really can use to clear out screens that you would otherwise not be able to clear out. The sign that I say the right word and then try to correct it into the wrong word, that's a sign that I'm talking too quickly. It's a disease. It's a habit. It's a habit I try to get rid of, but in these videos, in this Diablo content, I fall into that habit almost unavoidably because the content is all about talking, it's all about rambling. This is my podcast space. This is my talk tour rendition on the Onkruid channel. So if I tell myself, oh yeah, this video is all about talking, then talking is what I'll do. But just at such a large speed that it becomes unpleasant. It becomes unfollowable, and you guys are just thinking like, what the hell is this person just rambling on about, man? I'm okay with being overwhelmed there. I think it's the same tier as the previous time, but it doesn't really matter because all we're here for is the augment. And the augment, of course, is 125 max. So we can now augment another item if we have enough flawless royal emeralds, which I think we will. Not an ancient focus, so goodbye. 2 pairs of Marauders boots. I guess we should keep them. A worse ancient legendary version. Yeah, well, I guess it is worse, but it's close. Don't need this, don't need this. This is my build, but I'm not using these boots, so goodbye. So I think what I'm supposed to do is definitely just keep the gloves, because we still need them. And Marauders, re-roll the boots into a different set item that we don't have yet. Convert set item. Get those boots in there. Pants is fine. Pants is absolutely a-okay. Okay, we're getting closer. Let's roll for some... Well, do we want to roll for some pants? The chances of us getting the pants that we really need again in Ancient are small, so I guess rolling for pants is fine for a second. Shadows pants, so 1 more shadow item and we will be in the money. Maybe we can go for shoulders. How many flawless royal emeralds do we have right now? 1. We have a lot of emeralds though, and we can definitely convert some other gems. Let's make our emeralds first. 32 ones of the imperial variety. And then 10 of the flawless imperial variety, which translates into 3 royal ones. And it's 1 additional flawless royal emerald for our augmenting purposes. And I guess let's just use our amethysts because we haven't used them for anything else, not even for rerolls on jewelry. 38, that means that we can reroll 9 royal amethysts right into emeralds, which allows us to do a full augment with just our purple gems. A little bit of alchemy in there, a little bit of transforming. I'm stupid. A little bit of transforming. How much did she buy it back for? 1, huh? You're a little scam artist, aren't you? A little bit of transforming lead into gold is what I wanted to flow out of my mouth 10 minutes ago when I tried to formulate this thought for the first time. But my brain is moving at too large speeds for my mouth to give up. Give up. A curse, also a blessing, because I think it makes me interesting in conversation sometimes if you can follow along. And that sounds, oh, that sounds so cocky, but you not being able to follow along is way more on me than it is on you. It is just because I talk way too quickly. So yeah, don't beat yourself up over it for sure. Just augment this without thinking about it too much. Boom. Another extra 625 free dexterity. That is beautiful. Over here, like that, like that, like that. Okay. Reorganized, restocked, almost out of gold for, well, I think already out of gold for empowering the rift, so maybe some normal rifts now? Although we just did some non-greater rift content, so bear with me, you guys, please. Let's save this build. I also updated my transmog again. I switched from black into gold. Also switched up my pets again to fit the rest of the build. Looks kind of clean, doesn't it? In my opinion. It's sad that the gold in here and the gold in my armor doesn't quite match up, but you have to sometimes roll with what life throws at you. Switch up the Templar's gear, and then we are ready to goddamn rumble. Put all of these away and put them down here to make it clear for myself. And let's head into some regular rifts. The more fun, more instant dopamine releasing content, but I know deep down that it's less efficient than actually doing greater rifts, and my brain doesn't like doing things less efficient than it could be. Okay, please, just answer my prayers. Just show me that doing things with less efficiency can be good as well. Down or Yangtze curve. Build up tension. Oh my god, holy shit. It's only 9 maximum discipline, that sucks. Instead of 11, but... Oh, I got a little bit of a... A little bit of the chills. I got a little bit of goddamn chills. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. We actually got him. If this is now also ancient, I will shit my pants live on camera. Okay, oof. That's 5% damage though, we need to take a look at that, but let's just show me, show me the money. Just show me what I am capable of now. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Hello, Treasure Goblin. Goodbye, Treasure Goblin. Oh, it's insane. It might even be too much for me to handle, to be honest. Who would have thought that we would actually find that item? The final piece of the puzzle. Yeah, we are just completely overpowered right now. I can't wait to try something like Greater Rift 100 to really see how strong we are. Watch me now get the Primal Ancient Legendary in the next 5 minutes as well to make this upgrade completely redundant. Unless if I play off camera or if I look for a second Primal Ancient Legendary item. Any takers? Anybody interested in 7 more hours of hearing me speak about nothing? I hope for your guys' health that the answer is no. You need to do something else with your day today. Don't just watch this Onkruid video, please. Watch some of the other Onkruid videos maybe as well. That's a valuable filling of your day. Oh man, I didn't think we could feel better, but it feels even better. Everything is just getting destroyed. Big big shout out to the Blizzard Lords keeping me hooked, keeping me addicted. Oh man, who would have thought? Holy shit. I can't wait. Other bow, goodbye. I'm not even gonna hold like a ceremony or anything. You served us well, but you are not needed. Your services are not needed at all anymore. Say goodbye to all of these pieces of gear. Do we have the Shadows chest piece? We do already. Ancient even. Reroll it. Reroll it. Don't salvage it. Great thinking there, buddy. Bit of positive reinforcement to myself. Nope, we have the hood as well, definitely. Shoulders we don't. Okay, so I think now the shadow is complete. Yes. Focus on other builds. Are we gonna use this helmet? That's an interesting question you pose right there. It has a socket already. What is the stat priority we are actually looking for? Quickly take a look in our build item stat priorities. Helm, multi-shot damage. We don't even have multi-shot damage on this bad boy. If we reroll elemental arrow damage into multi-shot damage, I think it should just be better, right? This is gonna take a while maybe, but hey. We are here together for the slow and steady race to the end, you know? So even if this takes a while, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That didn't take a while at all. Plus 5% damage, minus 16% toughness. We're going glass cannon. I realize that might not always be the best approach, but 16% toughness is nothing to sneeze at. 5% damage is also definitely nothing to sneeze at though. This fits our pet better maybe, so why not? The golden look is something I always enjoy in Diablo, but hey, if we can match our buddy... No, it doesn't matter better, but at least we look like a Power Ranger now, so we got that going for us. Not that much gold. I guess we could also pop some of our puzzle rings if we really want to focus on gold mainly, but this is fine. This is fine. Remind me, not that you can, make sure to comment to remind me that after this run I try on a Greater Rift. Even though if we don't have that much money or that many Greater Rift keystones remaining, I want to check out our damage against very, very high level enemies. Oh, brother. How can the satisfaction increase by such a drastic amount? That's also what my girlfriend asks whenever I start using one extra finger to stimulate her sphincter. Sometimes during this 7-hour Diablo session, things like that will just come to pass, and in the middle of formulating that thought, or explicitly stating it out loud, I realized, stop talking. Stop talking by all means for everything that is near and dear to all the beauty and goodness in the world. Don't finish this thought out loud, but hey, if you don't accept me at my worst, you're not worthy of me at my best. Think about that for a second. Ponder on that, huh? How do you like them apples? Quite philosophical. I guess not that philosophical at all, because it's quite a common expression, but I digress. Oh, man. Yeah, this feels great. It feels even more fast-paced right now. Like, really, it's almost too fast for me to handle and for me to follow along with what's actually happening, but it's so much fun to have it like this. And our pools of reflection are still just stacking up. We're not gaining any experience from these regular rifts. That's why it's also not optimal at all to do these kinds of things, but we need the gold. We need the gold to upgrade our legendary gems quicker. And this one is doing its job nicely right now. Alrighty. Blackthorn boots, something we don't need, and let's just go back into town. 141 million. That's enough for like barely 2 empowers, I think. Ancient helmet, you say? It's not an ancient helmet. This can go, this can go. This cannot go. I think these shoulders can probably go because we have ancient ones already. They are not ancient, some extra toughness, but I'm not really looking for that. All we're looking for at this point in time right now, we're not looking for gear upgrades anymore. We are just looking for that item with the red beam. A little bit more dexterity. At quite a high flat damage amount right now. Everything is really coming up Millhouse. Okay, save the multi-rift build, equip the multi-greater build, re-equip all of these things, save it again, and let's try it on for size. Let's try it on for size. Let's just go straight into 93. I might get disillusioned a little bit. I might be biting off more than I can chew right now. Or maybe not. Because the entire screen just disappeared. Keeping our distance is also important for this build with our legendary gems, I think. So we should pay attention to that for sure. But if we keep our distance, I think everything is still just dying. There was a pack of blues there. Didn't really even notice it that much, to be honest. Yesterday when I was at my friend's place for her brunch, she is a very, very literary focused person. She even works in a bookstore. I'm quite jealous of her some days, or a lot of days actually. She had a book in her bookcase about the Paris, and I guess the French, but mainly the Paris way of doing things in life, which is don't force anything, chill, and things will just come to pass if you don't, without having to apply too much pressure to your surroundings, to yourself, without having to worry about things too much. Just go with the flow, and your life will fall on its 4 legs without too much of a hassle. And that was inspiring. I only read the 5, maybe 6, 7 first pages, but I was already like, oh yeah, this seems like an interesting book. It was also written by a philosopher, which I want to get into more, reading philosophy books. But I thought, I have too many books on the docket already. I'm reading too many books already at this point in time as we speak. I'm gonna have to restart reading a lot for my education. I can't steal it from her at this point in time. So, gently, slightly pissed off at the universe, just slid it back into her bookcase, didn't look back. Left her home almost immediately after, because otherwise the pain would have been too unbearable and I would have probably just stolen it still. But I'm quite glad that I at least have some boundaries in my interest, in my passion for reading. Some boundaries, not a lot of boundaries, and I think I should have a lot of boundaries, because one of the main characteristics of reading and of books is that there are no boundaries except for imagination, right? You can make everything almost interesting. So I don't want to put too many boundaries up for myself. Hello, girlfriend. Can you upgrade my Zeiss Stone of Vengeance a bit, please? Because it provides us with a lot more damage. Okay. That was a nice piece of evidence into how quickly we can clear out large level, high level greater rifts built at this point in time with this new weapon. Absolutely stunningly beautiful and gorgeous, if I say so myself. I will do one more just to finish off at Paragon 700, because that's a nicer number. I don't think we're gonna get exactly 700, because we're probably gonna go over it by quite a large margin, especially considering we're doing these high-level greater rift runs right now, which give the most experience in the game. But still, I want to be across the bridge that is the 700 mark already before ending of this recording session. This was recording session like number 8 or something, 8 times half an hour. Including like the pre-hunt setup videos. I've been recording a lot of Diablo content lately, but then again, that's exactly where it happens again. I feel like, yeah, but I can't focus on other videos yet because that project is not finished yet. And that's what always happens when I set myself these challenges of like the video ends when this or that happens. I will record everything before starting something new. And maybe that's why I don't make these videos often, because sometimes the goals I set for myself are elusive to an extent of like it really takes up most of my day then, and it makes sure that I can't record anything else for days on end. Pushing me into a dead end for a measly conduit pylon, that is harsh, that is mean, that is unacceptable behavior. What am I gonna read after I finish Into the Wild? I might just steal the book from my friend. We're gonna be honest with each other here, you know? I follow Jung and I show you my shadow side. I might start in that. I might start in one of Yalom's books. I might focus on a book we need to read for the education, because I know that in February somewhere or close to that we have an entire week of emotion-focused therapy. exercises and days and study days, and I know that we need to read, without exaggerating, almost an entire book before that starts. So I'll focus on that a little bit already. The Rift Guardian, eh? I don't think he's gonna be a challenge for me, especially not if I keep my distance, if my Vengeance is alive, and if my Shrine effects are nicely stacked up. Yeah, we're really just flying through these rifts. And next episode, next recording session, we will get to Greater Rift level 100, I think. Okay, we're not at 100% anymore, I beg you. Ah! Oh, that hurts. That physically hurts almost. Thank you very much for watching this little part, and see you in the next one. Bye. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay, I have one more recording session in me for today. Let's roll for some gloves, just in hopes of getting any ancient piece that we need, which is not the case, and I think this is Natalia, so these can all just go down the drain. The final recording session for today, even if I have time, to be honest, because I need to not completely fry my brain, you know? That's quite a decent part of evidence. We didn't even change up our Templar gear in order to really push the Greater Rifts, but let's head into for regular Rifts again, because we need gold. We need that cold hard cash. I guess we were doing regular Rifts at the start of the end of the last part as well. Switched into Greater Rift gear for just one Greater Rift attempt to see how we fared with the new bow, and we liked what we saw. I can tell you that much. You know what I don't like seeing? Horror movies. Never appeal to me. Horror games as well, just like scaring yourself for free? For free? And like willingly? Voluntarily? No, thank you. Not for me. I would rather read a nice book about how small little forest critters open a tea shop together for the rest of the forest, huh? How about that? How about that for a book idea? If that book exists and you know about it, please tell me all about it, because it sounds crazy. If it doesn't exist, you get my permission to write it for me. I will receive 10% of all the income on your book. I think that's a fair deal. 10%, right? And you can have the other 90%. As if I was an author and my publisher would say that, by all means, sign me up. Sign me up for 1 million copies. We will do a signing deal where every person that buys a book gets 1 million beers as well. So that's 1,000,000 times 1,000,000, which is a lot of beers. I don't detest that meme, but I don't understand why it's so popular. It's just a chat filter. Haven't we moved past chat filters as a society by now? They have been around for such a while. It's a meme that stood the test of time. Just earlier this day, I saw a little image about how the "Do you know the way" meme is more than 7 years old, together with the "somebody touch my spaghetti" memes, and those are the kinds of things that make me feel old, because there's people on the internet right now, there's children on the internet right now that were not born when those memes were large. Isn't that crazy? That's insane. And it got me thinking, like, do I still want to apply to this older audience that I want to apply to? And the answer is definitely yes, but lately there's this kid from America who's been commenting on my videos to play Fortnite or Minecraft, and I find that so funny. I just find that adorable. And I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it just to give him what he wants, but it won't be a pretty sight. I really am so bad at Fortnite probably, and Minecraft is just... It's a weird game to dabble into for a second, you know? Minecraft, Hearthstone, Magic, all games I would love to play on the Onkruid channel some more, but I feel like you really need to invest some time in there. Plus 12 maximum discipline, and we can reroll the companion damage into something else. Into what then? I think this is a worthy upgrade to look at for a second. Chest, maximum discipline we have. The sockets we have. Dexterity, vitality, elite damage reduction. Dexterity, vitality, and elite damage reduction. That's right here, so let's roll for it. Resistance to all is also quite nice. If we don't get the elite damage reduction. I guess the elites, should have picked a 99 there, are kind of the only enemies that are still touching us sometimes, so it makes a little bit of sense why we would roll for that, but haven't seen that often in my days of playing Diablo 3. Which have been quite a lot of days. Let me try and see if I can check my played time on this character so far, because we've been investing some time and effort into this journey. We're rerolling the right table of possibilities, right? Reduces damage from elites, yeah. It's right there. I guess it's maybe on the rarer side. Appears to be, at least. Come on. I know we have it in us. I know we have it in us, but on the other end, this is crazy content to watch with me or to be a part of as a viewer. So by all means, just let it take even longer, please. In fact, let me reroll my entire cash stack so that I need to do more regular rifts, and that this video, this concept, 2 videos by now, that okay, I'll shut up. We're out of veiled crystals again. Not great. I mean, it is a lot better though, I'll tell you that much, but it's not amazing that we just rolled past the item we needed. Make sure we don't accidentally salvage it. Socket it with gems, and then the most important part, dye it. Dye it in a nice summer yellow color. We can save our rift build already. And let's just quickly get this out of the way, right? And save. Re-equip rift. And head back into some regular old rifts. It's still the same Sunday, so I can't tell you about my day, can't tell you about my weekend. I can tell you a little bit about work, I guess. But yeah, there's not much to say anymore. We could transform this into a really unique concept and sit here in silence together. Ponder our lives separately, instead of me just always rambling on about mine and you having to listen. A little philosophical exercise. With work, we have a little thing going on where every Tuesday we post something inspiring, something one of our colleagues uses. This first week it was my turn, and my boss posted my description of working with Martin Buber, a Jewish philosopher. He's Austrian, I think. I don't know his exact heritage, his exact country of birth, to be honest. I just know his religion, that he's Jewish. His idea of I-thou versus I-it relationships, and how you can see other people in their wholeness, in their holisticness, with every character they bring to the table, and every character that forms up their personality, and be accepting towards every single of those character traits. Similarly, in your relationship with yourself, you can either be I or I-me, where I is, I think, the most authentic and the most accepting towards every single aspect of the other person relationship. And we try to form, or we should try to form, more of those I-thou and more of the I relationship, because it's filled to the brim with authenticity, it's filled to the brim with acceptance, especially toward yourself. Really try to accept every single aspect of you as a person. It's easier said than done, but it's something I try to achieve with my clients, it's something I try to achieve with myself, and it's something you should, in my opinion, try to achieve with yourself as well. Even if there is certain shadow sides, even if there's certain parts of you you are less proud of, try to accept them, try to look at them and find value in them. In the interesting wizard dagger. We already have an ancient in Geom, so buy. Try to maybe find the value in them, in the lines of Frankel. Find the value in the parts of yourself that you don't really like, or that society doesn't really like. For me personally, that is letting myself being run over by everybody, and being... I had this conversation with a friend in my therapy education, being boundlessly attentive, boundlessly friendly. I think that's what the definition we ended up upon of my personality trait, and it means that people can sometimes mistreat me, sometimes misuse my goodness. Let me read all of their papers, let me change the dates of our meeting just because they feel like they are too hungover from the previous day. I think a different person, or a lot of people, would say, hey, fuck you, if I'm worth that much to you that you don't want to meet me because you drank too much the last day you went out, by all means, just fuck off right out of my agenda and let me reorganize it for people that are seeing me as more worth their time, and they might even just watch out that they don't drink too much a day before we meet. I digress. I'm not trying to throw someone under the bus. But I think regular people, older people will be like, yeah, fuck that person. I'll cut that bitch out of my life. Maybe not after one of those occurrences. But the thing with me is that can happen 15 times. And then the 16th time that they ask to meet up. Or more presumably that I ask to meet up. Because that's another part of that. I'm mostly the person taking initiative in most of my relationships. I will still be like, oh yeah, absolutely fine. Let's go, let's do something together. And that's where I think the negative side, the downside of that view, of that way of being that I entail or that I try to hold up in life, that's where the downside lies. Is hidden, is what I was going to say, but it's not that hidden. I think it's quite clear for everybody, especially for people on the outside, but also for me, that that is maybe a potential downside. But that downside is worth that characteristic, is worth having that boundlessness, readiness for everybody that needs my help, for example. Like, I will move mountains, I will move everything in my possibility and do everything possible to be there for you. And that's beautiful, I think. It applies a lot of pressure to me in my day-to-day life to be there for every person around me, but I like that pressure. Even if it means being busy all the time, it's a very positive form of busyness because it's how I want to be busy. A little monk action. A little ancient Natalia's is what we do not need. We also don't need Natalia's reflection, because all the rest of this can go into the garbage bin again. One of the aspects that some people might attribute to my shadow side, because there's maybe also a bit of insecurity in there, and a bit of I want everybody to like me in there. So please, by all means, comment on this YouTube video how much you like me as a person, because otherwise I might cry, invade your home at night, commit general homicide, because I'm so petty of you not liking me. But other than that, I'm quite a stable and loving person. But maybe that does fuel that characteristic a little bit, like, okay, but if I dedicate my entire life to being there for them every single second of every single day, at least they can't hold that against me, at least they can't use that as a reason to not like me after all, you know? And don't get me wrong, I'm revealing some sensitive topics here right now. I'm really diving into my own psyche, my own mind, and how I work, how I function, or dysfunction maybe even. But I think that's, and I've talked about this myriad times, so you might be very, very bored of this already. I think this is a very positive functionality that I discover in this YouTube channel, is that it can become kind of a diary for me in a sense. And if you guys want to enjoy that with me, then by all means, tag along. I have no secrets for you. That's a little bit over the top maybe. Of course, I have some secrets, like where I stash my cum sock, but other than that, almost everything is just free real estate. Free real estate that we can share, and we can build a nice house upon for the two of us. A house where we can maybe even share a cum sock, you know? Maybe we don't have to keep it hidden. And if you're female, then we'll find something else very disgusting to to do and to connect ourselves in terms of bodily fluids. So just bear with me, just give it some time and give it some space, and we will come up with something for sure. What the fuck was I talking about? Right. Intricate psychological discussions about my internal world and my internal frame of reference, and looking at the outside world into cum socks and sharing them with other people. Yeah, that's what you can expect here on the Onkruid channel, of course. It can definitely go both ways, I can tell you that much. I can definitely tell you that much. Is there another characteristic of me that I find hard to accept? I think sometimes it is my passion for things like gaming and things like books, and that I'm not constantly drinking, constantly going out, that I'm spending time behind my computer instead of spending time behind a book. The passions also, they get into a competition with each other. I think that's hard to accept sometimes, because it makes me seem stuck up in an ivory tower in some occasions, and according to some people for sure. Like when we were at the Pukkelpop festival a while back, and I was reading in the mornings because I packed some books and I wanted to have a nice early start to my day that was filled with calmness, filled with pleasure, filled with something I wanted to do. I got so many remarks. Are you really reading right now? Did you really bring a book to a festival? So I guess it's not really a lack of self-acceptance towards that characteristic and passion of mine, but it's more the critique I get from other people, and that making me doubtful about whether I'm really doing something admirable, like reading, or whether I'm just being a little autistic and a little bit loneliness-inducing by doing that and by having that passion. But lately, this summer holiday, because I've spent a lot of time on books, really, I've realized even more that I'm a lonely piece of shit that has no friends. No, I've realized even more that I love that characteristic of me as well. Even if some people might find that hard to deal with or might find it boring or they don't understand because they don't read books themselves, I realized like I'm so proud of how it makes me sound, of how literate it makes me sound, of the words I can use in conversations therefore and stuff like that, that I stopped thinking about like whether I really want to invest as much time into books and stuff as I want to and games, because it's who I am. And I've come to accept that part of myself more and more. Even come to cherish it a little. I find it not only a part that I accept, but a part that I love, a part that I appreciate of myself. And other people might still find it difficult to follow along when I then talk about anything at all, because I use too many intricate, complicated expressions or ways of saying things, often making sentences way more complicated than they need to be, so that's on me for not explaining myself more clearly. The clearer and simpler a person can explain things, sometimes that shows way more that they are an intellectual and understanding of what they're talking about than making it complicated just for the sake of making it complicated. But I love this quaint, archaic way of talking sometimes. And that's a part of myself that I've really come to adore. Not even just come to accept, but explicitly investing in, even learning more words, trying to say things in a different manner, trying to think about what sentence I want to form and whether I can't form it in a more fun way. More fun for me then, not always more fun for the people listening, but they have to deal with that. They have to make sure that they are focusing on having an I-thou relationship with me and not an I-it relationship where they just want me for my information. No, they want me for my information, but also the way I bring that information across. A beautiful example is that my clients, I hope they see me in I-thou perspectives as a person with my own intricacies, with my own thoughts, with my own ups and downs. But then again, they might be a perfect example of people seeing me as objects. People seeing me mainly in terms of like one or two of the characteristics. Ah, get out of here. We don't need your kind. We don't even need... Ooh! It's the same fucking effect. But it's worse. Yeah, it's definitely worse. It has 11 discipline though. But the movement speed on this is larger. Yeah, no. But wow, that's crazy that we find the same effect again. They might see me just in my little identity segment of being a therapist, of being somebody that talks a lot, because they don't often see me in my quiet side. They also might not see my creative side. I hope they do in the interventions that I do, but I think in terms of like my poetry and my YouTube and stuff like that, they might never even catch the smallest whiff of any of that, to be honest. So they might have a very reduced view of me, reduced almost purely to the therapist side of me, the therapist that I am. The therapist side, the therapist characteristic that I myself find very important, so I love it that they probably see that as my main characteristic, because they only know me as their therapist. But there's more to me. There's more to me than meets the eye, and there's more to me than I let out in my therapy sessions, of course. You need to keep some boundary up. I think I have found quite a nice balance for myself in what I do want to discuss with my clients and don't want to discuss, like my relationship status. Sure, they can know about that. My hobbies, they can know about that. But there's other intricacies that I might not share with them. And I guess I might not always share with you, because that would feel really weird, right? To share it with... Let's go for gloves. To share it with the people online, but not the people I want to form an even deeper connection with in terms of a therapeutic relationship. That would be a little sussy. Shoulders. That's it, right? We can collect our set pages. That went a lot faster than I actually thought it would. Goodbye to everything in my inventory. I'm not even going to identify it because we don't need any of it. So what we need right now to do... Nice sentence there, Onkruid. What we need to do is get all of this in our inventory, get all of this in our inventory, get all of this in our inventory, and then travel to Leoric's Manor, if I'm not mistaken. Leoric's Manor Courtyard. Travel in here to the library. Stand in front of the set dungeon location. Maybe we can even pick up the bounty on the way now that we're here. And just click it, re-equip or equip another set and then click it again, right? We are coming hazardously close, I think, to the Altar of Rites upgrade. Maybe it's the last one though, where we need to find Cold Ziral's drop. I know last time I played and last time I wanted to fill up that Altar of Rites, that really tormented me for a while. That was really hard to find. I don't think I have like 1 or 2 pieces of that puzzle in my inventory already from just roaming around the map. So that's page 1. Then let's equip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for page 2. Wait, why not? Do we need all 6 items? But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have only 5 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 set piece bonus. What's going on? What's happening? Do we need another set? Do we need Natalia's? Am I mistaken? Let's just quickly try that on for size. 1, 2, 3, 4. We will reorganize in a second. Find the ring. Will this work? I sure hope it does. Road fucking work ahead. That's 6, right? Please? Okay. So I guess I was collecting this set for nothing then? Does it not have a set dungeon? But now we have all we need. Right? I hope so. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. We did more work than we actually had to do. More work. Off we go then. What is the previous one they unlocked? This one to the right, which is what we did as well. And then the one to the left here. Progress orbs from Nether Rifts and Greater Rifts are picked up automatically. A nice quality of life. And this is where we need the ancient puzzle ring. So that's where we will be farming right now. In order to achieve this one right here, apparently. Plus 100 damage. That is boring as hell. If I would be Twitch streaming right now, I might ask for a $1,000 donation in order for me to have the courage to disenchant my entire inventory and stop the Diablo series right now. I'm not streaming on Twitch right now though, so you can fuck right off. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna make a new stash tab and just put all of these sets in there, intertwined, intermingled without paying too much attention to it. Re-equip this. Throw the ring in there as well. Just disenchant this bow because we don't need it right now. And then head back into the rifts and I guess reroll rings from now on from Kadala. Because we still need an ancient focus, we still need an ancient convention and an ancient Rachel's ring of her ass. And of course we need an ancient puzzle ring from now on. Okay, so progress orbs will now get picked up automatically. That's lovely, but I feel like we were already picking them up without too big of a hassle because of all the pickup range upgrades we had. I thought for a second that would be a puzzle ring, but it doesn't look like it. It's maybe a little disturbing to you that I can see what item I get even before I identify it, but hey, that's the name of the game. I was gonna look at whether I could look at my time played. Can I? Can I look at my own profile? View profile. Heroes. This is what we're playing right now. 14 hours and 37 minutes. That's okay. I thought it would be more, to be honest, at this point in time. Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Is that the amount of time I could probably read 2 books in? Yes. Is this also worth a lot? Yes. Because I'm doing introspection. That's what I was doing. Come to think of it, I was thinking about like what other characteristics of myself do I maybe accept or not accept easily. For a while, the previous one we talked about was also influenced by feeling a little fat, by not being satisfied with my body image, by feeling insecure, don't know what for, and feeling unsports-like, unsportive, feeling lazy, feeling like I never moved. But that has really cleared up over the years, and video gaming time has made space for that, has made space for going for a run, like the 10 kilometers last night. Have you heard about this? Did I flex that already, that I ran 10 kilometers last night? Of course I did, because it's the same video still. I think I'm happy with the state of like how many of my days or how many hours in my days are filled up with exercise, but there's a little room for improvement still, in my opinion. I've been thinking about that. I was thinking about that yesterday during that run, feeling how much I enjoyed running and thinking like, yeah, physical exercise has become something central in my life. I never would have believed it. You could not have told Onkruid from 10, maybe even 5 years ago that it would become such a big part of his life, but especially the social aspect as well. Those runs with my pregnant friend, oh man, they butter my egg roll to an inhuman extent almost. They are some of the highlights of my week sometimes. I'll tell you all about it. They are one of the only moments in the week where I feel it's completely warranted to tell my story, to really just outwardly ponder about what's going on in my head and tell my side of things, whereas other people might always count on me as somebody that always listens, which is normally the case indeed. And that's why I think I greatly appreciate her and our run sessions, because they are, without burdening her, or I hope without burdening her at least, they are kind of my therapy sessions. To a small extent, because I still have a lot of practice to do in terms of speaking my shit, in terms of spitting valuable bars. Almost went to a great rift with our regular rift build. That would have caused like a nuclear reaction. I think the world would have just ceased to exist because of the tragedy characteristic of that situation, which is me over exaggerating my problems in video games, of course, for comedic effect. What else? What else is there? I feel like I'm okay with how I am, with my hobbies, with just pretty much everything in my life at this point in time. Maybe, yeah, the one thing that makes me still a little bit ashamed of my hobbies in terms of like reading books and creating a network of knowledge in Obsidian and creating these YouTube videos and all of that good shit and gaming in my free time as well. On top of that is how much time it takes me out of the living room of my house, how much time I still spend upstairs on my own without my girlfriend, and how little time I then save for her, considering friends are also really important for me. It's, I think, a hard pill for her to swallow, and I appreciate her for doing it. I love her for doing it, for accepting that I am almost always away, almost always doing things with friends on this day and then doing things with other friends on that day, and home such a little amount of time. But it's something she will have to accept if she wants to be with me, for sure, because it's a main part of my life. Friendship is, I think, the most important value in my life, over family and maybe even over relationships. And that's not negatively, I don't mean anything negative by that towards her. It's just how my brain works and how my value system works, and what I feel internally gives me the most value. I couldn't live my life without these friendships, man, without the people surrounding me. Really, oh man. I feel like I say it enough. I feel like a lot of people will probably get tired of my cringeness and my constant expressions of appreciation towards them. Some people might not deal with that easily, but I'll never stop it. I'll never quit it. Compliments and stuff like that as well. If you don't want to hear my compliments, just plug your ears, because I will not stop giving them at any cost. Because we have the time to disenchant all of our items here. We have quite a lot of gold to our name. We have enough Greater Rift Keystones to last us until the next economic crisis, which might of course be coming up sooner than we think. That is not an ancient focus, so I sleep. Do I want to reroll this Templar thing into becoming ancient? I mean, what else am I gonna do, right? Reforged Legendary. No. No, I don't think I even rerolled it. That was quicker than expected. A nice little upgrade for our fella. Goodbye to the old one, and in with the new. Let's do one more regular rift, and then we might head into some greater rifts. But I see that we're already at the half-hour mark, so the recording session will sooner or later have to end as well. Maybe I will spend the rest of the day before we head over to my parental home for the family party. Maybe I will spend all the rest of the day reading a bit, trying to finish Into the Wild today. And then make a separate video about it. That's something I really need to do. I have a script lined up for a video about a book. And I don't do it because I'm trying to finish this project. But just like I read multiple books at once, I should focus on multiple projects at once. Should spend some time on my Switzerland video, on my vacation video as well. But I feel my internal critic limiting me there as well. Because I think, oh, this video is not going to be perfect. I want to do something creative with it, but people are not going to be able to enjoy it because they don't see my vision. Just do it, man. Just do it. Listen to what you tell your clients to do. I think that's some advice I could give many people in my field, but myself included. Practice more of what you preach. Not always easy, because we as therapists are also just humans, of course. But yeah. I've also discovered lately how insanely cool I find it to call myself a therapist. Oh, sure, I'm still a therapist in training, so it's not completely accurate, not completely true at this point in time, but once I finish my education, it will be such a cool way of thinking of myself. I am a client-centered psychotherapist. I didn't think my life would go this path, you know? But I'm quite satisfied with it. There's still the dream. There's still the dream of making this shit you're watching right here, this shit you're experiencing, like the main ordeal that I succumb to every single day. The main thing I fill my agenda with day in, day out. The dream is still there, but realistically, it's gonna be hard. Especially if I spend 14 hours on videos like this instead of making videos about therapy or about other games that people actually want to watch. Like, who in their right mind... Okay, who in their right mind is gonna... Well, it doesn't have a socket, fuck you. Is gonna be watching this at this stage. I know it's the 15th time I've said it during these videos, but I think there's an undeniable truth in there. Like, what am I doing? Why? Just... why? And the answer is because I'm having fun and I'm having a blast, and that's enough answer. I love creating this. I had a very heartfelt discussion about this with one of my buddies lately when we were heading out together. Music, content creation, all those stuff, all those things, all those beautiful things, poetry as well. I make it for me. If some people can enjoy it, by all means, please enjoy it. And that is a very nice bonus for me, but it's never going to be my main motivation. I could be creating Fortnite content right now, like that little kid YouTuber that I adore. I watch some of his content sometimes, sincerely, not just out of pity or out of any insincere motives. I respect his grind, and I think he is putting a lot of effort into following the curve of what's popular, growing his YouTube channel, so by all means I want to support that. But whenever he comments like, play Minecraft or Fortnite, my neck hairs stand up straight, you know? I should download Fortnite. I should just to please him, man. He will be so happy. I'll even shout him out, like, this one will be for you. You know what? Yeah. Watch, like, Beginner's Guide 2024 Fortnite video, maybe, to just know what the hell is going to be going on. What kind of Thanos glove, Dragon Ball Z, Kamehameha shit I can expect. And then just play a game or two, play a round or two. Or play until I win. But that's not gonna turn out right. Fuck that chest armor. I don't need that. That's not gonna turn out right. This video ends when I win a Fortnite game. It's gonna be it's gonna be another 7-hour ordeal where I won't be able to provide the type of content I want to provide because the video will be way more chaotic. So maybe that's not the best idea. All of a sudden we're getting these bows out of wazoo, and if this one has again the effect of Yang's recurve, I will be quite scared. Because I will think that the Blizzard gods are being too... Okay. Weird. Maybe not that weird, maybe you guys have a very sensical, logical explanation for what is happening, but this is some supernatural type shit if you ask me. Give me some rings, let's upgrade the rare ones into legendary ones, just because it's a valuable use of my material, I think. Although the chances of getting an ancient puzzle ring from this are very slim. They are never zero. We have so much Dead's Breath, holy shit. Okay. Nothing to write home about here. And the end of this recording session as well. Next time we will delve into Greater Rifts a bit more again, considering we have the keystones for that, considering we have the gold for that. I will already equip everybody in my party up to that standard, so that I can remember next time, oh yeah, right, I was gonna head into Greater Rifts. And I will see you in the next part of the episode. Hope you enjoyed this part. My sanity is slowly draining a little bit, maybe, from playing this character for 15 hours, 7 of which are on camera by now, but I'm all for it. Can we see? Bonus pool remaining 3 million XP. Okay, we will probably never run out of this pool of reflection bonus, I guess. Maybe. Potentially. Okay, thanks. See you in the next one. Next part. Bye. Alrighty, welcome back. Welcome to another part in this journey we're embarking upon. We already have our greater build variety equipped, so let's head into some of those. Let's try and get to Greater Rift 100 with our new weapon. And let's also try to not get disturbed by too many WhatsApp messages, because that is not very professional. There might be another one coming in. It is a friend. Yeah, you guessed it. This guy has friends. What? He's never told us about that. From my therapy education, with whom I... What's the difference between whom and who? This is something I should know or should look up, because I feel like I very often intertwine both words, use them interchangeably, and I don't feel like they actually are. Not the topic I was trying to get into. We just spent a nice evening together going bouldering. The variety of climbing where you normally climb like rocks outside, but we did it indoor because, well, the weather is quite chilly. Actually, the weather would kind of permit outside bouldering, I think, but in Belgium, you're not gonna get that many crazy rock formations that actually form cool boulders. And just in general, as like a little pastime at the end of a working day, you're not gonna travel to the regions of Belgium where there are actually mountains, so makes a lot more sense to do the climbing inside if you want to go climbing. I think it's a very popular hobby. I think it's a very popular pastime. It's a very popular pastime and form of exercise for people in our age range, which is kind of like late 20s, begin 30s, especially here in Leuven, in the city we live in. It really, really is a booming, not necessarily business, but it is definitely booming, a habit for a lot of people. A lot of my clients also find some benefits in bouldering and practice it regularly. Good for them, of course. I don't often do it because it absolutely destroys me. It turns me into a shimmer of what I used to be. I am just a shade of what I normally am. In terms of being human, in terms of being functional, in terms of being able to use my body. It sounds like I'm exaggerating, but for real, there is no other form of exercise, I think, that destroys me and gets me tired the way bouldering does. Not tired in like a, oh, I really need some sleep sense, but tired in a purely physical exhaustion, like real exhaustion sense. Especially my wrists, my arms in general, but my wrists and my fingers, they suffer severely. One thing that makes the suffering worth more is sharing it with a person you like, and that's definitely what we did. It was an impulsive idea she proposed, like, can we go bouldering sometimes? And I was like, yeah. Ever since I graduated from my regular psychology education, in my therapy education right now, of course, but since I graduated from my regular university education, I have had the intention, the wish, the kind of healthy habit that I wanted to develop to say yes more often. I suffer from this default mode of saying no. Even before somebody can finish the question, even before I've looked at my agenda, even before I I actually take a look at whether it fits my schedule, whether I have the time, I already told people no. And that was because I much rather spend my time behind my computer in the safety of my own home, playing video games than being outside. Simultaneously with that changing, me getting more into exercise, into my social life, into meeting up with friends, into going to different cities to meet up with friends, all that good shit, going to fun little shows, fun concerts, for fun parties. Simultaneously with that, I also wanted to say yes to more things that I normally would not say yes to. So not just going outside more, but also trying new things outside. And it has been a blast. It's not perfect yet. There's a lot of things I still feel too much shame for, even though there's absolutely no reason for it, or things that I think, no, I will not be able to do that, or no, that will not be anything for me. I'm not giving everything a try yet, but one of the beautiful examples, I think, is when I decided to hang my poem somewhere in a little artist space, because one of the other people in my therapy education, who is an amazingly talented artist herself, you see her artwork hanging on the closet there behind me, and you see my cup of tea, and you see my kitty as well, maybe, if my chair is not blocking it. Little sip. Just absolutely scorched the insides of my mouth, but hey, pretty hurts, you know, as Beyonce says. It's a delicious cup of tea, though. It is Krautertee, so spices tea. Oh, back from Switzerland even, so it has been in our house for a couple of weeks, because we've been back from Switzerland since like the start of August, but tea doesn't quickly lose its flavor. Not at all. I think we might go bouldering more often. But I was talking about that other artist girl. I went over to her art display. I even made some art live there with her. Wrote a poem, and I got encouraged enough to hang my work on a wall there, which is new for me, very much out of my comfort zone. But I said yes, with some doubt still, because something like this doesn't change in 1, 2, 3. But I'm so glad that I said yes. And this Thursday, so in 2 days, I'm headed back over to one of her projects to make art with her again. I think I've been thinking about this quite a lot. I think I'm gonna go for a kind of bookcase illustration. And I'm thinking about making a bookcase in a weird environment. In an environment where you would not expect to see a bookcase. My train of thought right now went to creating a bookcase in the middle of a desert, but instead of a regular old desert, the sand is purple, because I think that landscape of just purple dunes, purple hills of sand, purple grains of sand stacked upon each other, as far as the eye can see, I feel like that is gonna be a beautiful sight to behold, if I can execute it correctly, and that's that's where the main problems will probably arise, but I guess I need to rely on my therapy education buddy, and the artist, Drune is her name. I'll just shout her out. I don't normally name everybody that I do things with, but look her up on Instagram if you will. I hope that she can guide me through my process a little bit and help me transform my vision into a reality on the piece of paper. Even if that doesn't work, it'll be valuable for me, because it is another great example of me just saying yes to something, enlisting in something that I normally would never enlist in, because I would feel like, no, I'm not talented. I don't have anything to bring to the table there. I mean, why would I make artwork? That's not me. I'd rather stay at home, maybe make some YouTube videos, and I'm still creating, then I'm still doing something valuable, but it's more in my domain. But now I'm being more like, no, let's discover. This life is so vast, so intricate, there's so many possible things to do with your time. Let's make sure that we are not missing out on too many of those possibilities. Maybe you discover something sooner or later that turns your life around, really. Imagine if bouldering, I did it for like the 4th time today or something already, but imagine if you never try it, and then once you're 50 or whatever, one of your colleagues asks you, hey, I go bouldering. You want to go bouldering with me? First of all, if you're 50, you're probably going to be stuck in the sofa with aching back pains and never leaving your house. Exaggeration for comedic effect. Please, by all means, if you're 50, go bouldering. Try it out. If at that point you realize, hold on a second, this is absolutely bussin'. I love doing this. This should be a hobby of mine. It's sad. It's very cool. It's never too late. It's never too late to pick up new passions in life, don't get me wrong. Make it your hobby by all means, but there's a little bit of grief, a little bit of sadness, a little bit of... It's a shame in there that you only discovered it so late. And I think that's something I am trying to do right now, is giving myself the opportunity to discover things early. Giving myself the opportunity to know what I really, really want to fill my time with. And this YouTube thing is one of those, for sure. Reading is one of those, for sure. Running is one of those, for sure. Being among friends is one of those, for sure. Those are all things that I have definitely found out throughout the last couple of years, that they make up the essence of what I want my life to be. But there's always, always room for more. A life is rarely too full, in my opinion. In like a meaningful activities or options for meaningful activities sense, it can be too full sometimes if you're just overbooking your agenda every single day. Wow, level of 100. Now that is satisfying. Let's start leveling up Bane of the Trapped. There's a kitty in a bag back there, but I guess that's no big deal. The bag is not of great importance. I don't know if the mic picks it up. Probably when I talk it definitely does. What kind of weird helmet is this? Holy point shot. No, thank you. Not going impale build. A witch doctor helmet. Well, thank you very much, game. Let me check something out. I got that witch doctor helmet. Does that mean I can transmog into that? No, of course it doesn't, because that is boring. Just boring Diablo 3 things. I think she is by now just completely entombed in the sack. Yeah, she's all up in there. And the other cat is just lying at the door, looking like, what the fuck is going on back there? It's a comedic duo, these two. They can be little Satanist kitties. They can really ruin your day or ruin your mood for sure. But they can also make you smile and make you feel love. I don't think I can turn my camera in a way that you'll be able to see it, so I'm sorry that it's just a description, but it's quite cute. Come to think of it, I don't really know what's in that bag, so I hope it's not something destructible that they are destroying right now. If that is the case, I'm gonna get to hear about that in the near future, you know? There's somebody in this household that will hold me accountable for my mistake there. But I'll just tell her, yeah, but it was so cute. I won't tell her I was playing Diablo 3. Because then she'll see that as an excuse that I didn't want to stand up. Maybe a little bit a part of the truth as well. I'm in my zone right now. And disregard what Kanye says, because by all means, let me get into my zone. Don't let me get into my zone, please. Once I am in that recording zone, the words just go. They just go. They just go. That's a little David August reference. If you got that, 10,000 respect points. I think that's not exaggerated, because I don't think anybody will get that. It's a beautiful, beautiful song that he plays during his Boiler Room set as well, which is one of the most masterfully crafted collections of electronic music in existence still, even like probably 9 years later after it came out. It's gonna be something like that, probably. Multiple iterations of me listening to it. It's a hidden gem. It's, I think, my favorite Boiler Room set of all time as well, because it's just an absolute stunner. There is a kitty on my desk. I feel like you saw her tail pass by. You should not drink my tea. I would greatly appreciate if you... You're gonna lie down there, aren't you? You are looking for a spot to lie down, and it's gonna be quite close to where my mouse is moving. Okay, she has now taken place on the top of my desktop computer with her ass on my hard drive. My external hard drive. Cool. Cool. Thanks, Tora. Thanks for the company, buddy. At least she's not biting the cables like Northern Alliance kitties always do. They are okay in that sense. Don't get me wrong, they do it sometimes, and I sometimes need to get them out of there, but not consistently. Most of the time they do it when I get a new cable, which also doesn't happen that consistently. But I did notice that when I installed my audio interface, they were all up in that bitch. They were like, oh, new cables, what's this? Haven't seen this before, this is a new smell. And they really, really thoroughly enjoyed biting that shit up sometimes. So I had to pay a bit more attention to what they were doing below my desk, beneath my desk at that point in time, but by now I trust them. Trust is a valuable part of the relationship. I had an interesting discussion with a client on Saturday, and we're going all over the place in this episode. I'm not sorry, in this part of the episode. Interesting discussion with a client who was like, well, my father wants complete control over all of my, all of my bank accounts and everything I can do, everywhere I can spend money. He wants to have complete control over that. I'm gonna tell him no. And he had this interesting sentiment of like, I need to feel that they trust me. I need to feel that there is a trust from him. Because if I feel like there's no trust from the start, there's no reason for me to try my best. If I feel, however, that they trust me and that I can do my own thing and that they don't take complete control over anything, cool, only then will I be able to use that trust as a kind of motivation to behave. And I was like that meme with the guy pouring Henny in a cup. Like, he is making some damn good sense, in my opinion. If his father, right from the start, is just like, well, you're gonna fuck it up anyway, you're gonna buy beers, so we're not gonna let you have control over your own bank account, then he's gonna look for ways to still buy beers. He's gonna be like, yeah, well, they don't trust me either way, what do I have to lose, right? Whereas if his father's like, okay, you know, you can have control over your bank accounts, but please, I then trust you to not buy any alcohol with it, not during the week at least, and not stash it in your room. He's like, yeah, then I will find motivation, then I will realize that I need to make my father proud, in a sense, that I have been given a chance, that I have been given this trust, and that I should uphold it. That I should uphold my part of the bargain, my part of the deal. And that is such a clever insight from him, such a quite a nice psychological analysis, really, of the effect of parenting techniques on his own behavior and on his own behavioral tendencies. I was impressed. Impressed to say the least, because it's not always the most verbal client, so I was really appreciative of his input there. I feel like I should have told him that a little bit more, but I think it only really dawned on me towards the end of the session, or when I was writing my session report, which is of course when he is no longer in the room with me. It's when I'm at home or when I'm in between clients later on in that day. So I can't really like call him up to tell him how impressed I am, but maybe I should tell him next time. Tell him next time that, you know, what you told me last time about like that trust of your father, found that really insightful, found that really a nice analysis of you, and I could completely follow along. I'm definitely going to touch upon that idea again of how things are going with his father, because he planned to tell his father that he was not going along with his father's plans that same day after we had our session. So, I mean, that's going to be a subject that we can't avoid. That's going to be a nice elephant in the room that we will have to touch back on again. And I definitely want to touch back into that subject because I think it's an important one. His relationship with his father. I'm a bit more ahistoric than I think most therapists are. I'm not always focused too much on the influence your parents had, on how it was at home, on how your What's up? What's up? There's a kitty here, but she's not showing herself. Oh, the tail, a little ear, a little tail. What's up, Dora? How you doing? How you doing, buddy? You're making my half-an-hour recording session include less than half an hour of Diablo grinding, girl. But maybe that's okay. Maybe that's okay. Maybe your appearance is great content as well. Maybe it can liven up the party a little bit. Just don't drink my tea. Please don't drink my tea. I think she's not gonna drink my tea. Love her. Adore her. Dora is definitely the cat that is more attached to me, whereas Suki, our other little rascal, is way more attached to my girlfriend. They are hanging out more. Oh, you gonna lie right there, buddy? I'm gonna have to reposition my mouse mat and keyboard a little bit then, but I won't interrupt you from lying there. I'm sorry for all the kitty technical difficulties in this part of the episode, but hey, if she wants to do this, then I want to give her that. I want to give her that pleasure, you know? I want to make sure that we can chill together because it's valuable. I think it's great for our bond. I was gonna say as child and that, as my little girl and her daddy. First of all, never use the word daddy in any context unless... Second of all, don't talk about your pets as if they are... Well, no. I'm not gonna be such a gatekeeper. I'm not gonna be so severe about this. If you want to do that, by all means do that, but don't expect me to do that. This is a direct message for my girlfriend, by the way, who is calling me father sometimes, or told my friends, yeah, he's gonna be a father soon when we were about to get these kitties. Don't. Just don't. Don't do that. Not for me. You can enjoy it like that. You can have that idea of your pets as being children, but I find that maybe a little bit cringe. Although, when Nornline tells me about his 2 sons, when he's talking about his kitties, I'm always like, yeah, I know them. Tomo and Rayuka. I know about them, and they are indeed your sons. But then when somebody tries to put that label on me, that label of fatherhood, regarding my little kitties, I'm like, no, thank you. She is destroying a piece of paper. It's fine. They can just chill. That's not ancient. That's not ancient. Where are my ancients at, you know? I've been steadily increasing the Greater Rift level, and we still don't really experience that much difficulty, so maybe I can just keep it going after I drink another little sip of tea with my buddy Suki next to me. Wow, lovely. I hope that tomorrow I will be able to use my arms. There has been one occasion, I think it might have been the first time I went bouldering, which is already a while back. Shout out to my buddy Joey for taking me and my girlfriend climbing with him once, like 8 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. No, it was not that first time, because that time I was just too excited, but when I went with my niece for the first time, I overdid it so much. I really strained myself so much, pushed myself so far past my limit that I spent some time in the evening after bouldering just crying. Just crying because of all the pain I felt and because I really couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle the claw hands I was trying to deal with there. I was just in so much suffering that I couldn't help but produce some tears. This time I don't feel like that. I don't feel like it's that severe, but there's definitely some hurting going on again. I'm a big advocate for kind of stoic philosophies and Ryan Holiday's vision about like seek discomfort, about how sometimes the best things in life are only found with a little bit of pain, a little bit of struggle, a little bit of strain. So I'm not opposed to the feeling that I'm sitting with right now. That feeling of like a little stiffness, a little crampedness, a little bit of pain in general. Like, it's okay, it can be there. But discomfort is never quite comfortable. I think otherwise it would not be called discomfort. So there's a part of me that's also like, can't we just go running? Can't we just go for a walk? Can't we just go and drink some coffee? Something that is a little bit less severe on my body. But you have to be severe on your body sometimes. In an exercise sense, I think pushing yourself past limits consistently, no, absolutely not. Don't even think about it. I will have some severe words to say to you as a psychologist, especially if I'm your psychologist. Doing it once or twice, really looking for that boundary, limit testing, if you will, to use a little bit of gaming terminology, by all means. Challenge yourself. That's valuable. That's okay. That'll push you to newer heights. It'll make you discover things about yourself that you previously thought impossible, and it can be very great for your mental health. But combine that with mildness. Combine that with correct timing for the reinstatement of those boundaries that you are trying to push, you know? Don't keep on pushing yourself, or don't overdo it to such an extent that you ruin something about your body for the next couple of days. And that's definitely what happened that first time I went with my niece. I went way too hard. Also because I didn't realize that the strain, the pain, the intense... Ah, it's been so long since we've died. The intense feelings of discomfort as a consequence of bouldering are for me only experienced a little bit after getting off the route. A little bit after letting go of that final hold and either dropping down or climbing back down quite safe and soundly. Only then is my wrist all of a sudden just like, hey buddy boy, what you doing here? You wanna kill me? That's what my wrist sounds like. It sounds a little bit like an Italian gangster for some reason. My left wrist sounds way older because he is retired. Get that reference? 15 respect points. It's a Dave song. My left wrist 61. Ha! My left wrist retired. I believe referencing the price of his watches, of his ice, if you will, but playing on words in terms of like the retirement age being over 60, things like that. I digress big time. Let me rewind my thoughts a little bit, because what was I talking about? Yeah, okay, only after letting go. That's when you know you love her. Passenger shout out. Okay, I need to finish my train of thought instead of just randomly rambling about song lyrics in between. So I overdid it because I didn't know better. I didn't realize that I was pushing myself because I only figured out that I was straining myself way too hard after already having quit for a while. And that was not a great feeling. The pain was severe and also felt completely uncountable in any way, shape or form. Like, I could not use my hands. I could not use my hands, and it was something that I had to deal with. And it was my first time bouldering, so also no idea when it would go away, whether it was normal, whether I'm just being a big old crybaby. But I was a big old crybaby at that point in time, you know? I really felt useless. And I couldn't write anything anymore. I had trouble holding my book to read. I couldn't move my mouse around for my laptop back then, maybe. No, my computer, but just at home, not here in Leuven for sure. During my student time, I left my computer at my parental house. I couldn't do anything. And I think I just lied in bed, maybe listened to a little video, maybe listened to some Northernline, potentially, probably. There is no way. Kadala just gave... Kadala just gave me a Primal Ancient Legendary. Goodbye.